Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Takedown Wrestling on the Mat.com. I'm Scott Casber, Steve Foster along with you tonight, as well as Greg Zafros is together. The three of us present the 50th edition of the Ken Kraft Midlands Championships. We're live tonight at Welsh Ryan Arena on the campus of Northwestern University. The Parade of Champions just about ready to get underway here at this fabled arena. Tonight, the 50th edition of this event takes place, and you hear the crowd in the background as they are just now filling the arena. Ken Kraft leading the way, and in front of him, or behind him I should say, are the champions from 1963. That fabled team, that fabled class of group of young men that led the way to what is now one of the historic events in the country each and every year, the Midlands Classic. We wrestle it over the holidays for these young men to stay in shape for the second half of exciting college wrestling action. Again, joining me, Mike's side tonight, Steve Foster from Takedown Wrestling. Steve, how are you?
It's great to be here, Scott. It's always a real special moment to be able to witness all these great athletes and just about talked herself out, but we got just enough left for the finals tonight. And for third and fourth place, fifth and sixth place as well.
All right, let's bring Greg Zafros in. Greg, the point standings right now are rather interesting. It's not as if we hadn't predicted Illinois had a good shot at it, but they may sit in the catbird seat. That may not be the story. The story may be from 10 through 2.
That's correct, and what can we say? I did talk in second place is Virginia Tech. They were within about a half a point at one point, but now they're down by 11. And I talked to Coach Kevin Dresser just a little bit ago, and he said, well, it'd be pretty darn hard, but they're going to give their best on it. So, let's see. Illinois, of course, they're one of the near local teams. The host team, of course, is Northwestern, but we are in the state of Illinois, and they'd certainly like to win it here. Our Parade of Champions shows a bunch of really husky-looking wrestlers out there, and I think tonight's going to be a great match no matter what. Not only for the finals, the first and second, but we have third and fourth and fifth and sixth going on simultaneously. We'll be bringing you all the play-by-play on those.
Surely we'll bring you all the action that we possibly can, but let's run them down from 10 through 1. Steve, if you would please, the points and the teams.
10th place, you ready? 54 points, North Dakota State University up there in North Dakota. And let's see, 9th place, 56.5 points, Pitt doing a good job. And 8th place with 59.5 points, the host team, Northwestern Wildcats, right here from Evanston on the campus of. In 7th place, 65.5 points, the mighty Michigan Wolverines. In 6th place with 71.5 points, the Chippewas and Coach Tom Borelli of the Central Michigan. 5th place, up to the top 5 now, you ready? Big 12's represented here with the Oklahoma Sooners with 73 points. Coach Mark Cody and company. Lehigh in 4th place with 74 points. 75.5 points coming clear out from the West Coast, the Northwest, with 75.5 points. Oregon State Beavers and Coach Jim Zaleski and Troy Steiner. 2nd place, 85.5 points, to Virginia Tech Hokies. And boy, they were in the lead at one time.
They sure were.
Illinois coming out on top so far. So good for the Fighting Illini. 1st place, 96.5 points. So 11-point lead for University of Illinois from Champaign-Urbana. They will the PA down there. Be myself and Jeff Murphy doing the play-by-play and have a lot of fun down there with Coach Jim Heffernan, Mark Perry, Win Mahalik is coaching down there. Yep, now so he'll be involved in hosting that great tournament, the Big Ten. It's kind of like the mini nationals before the nationals. It's getting so stacked up with Rutgers and Maryland coming in here shortly.
And I spoke with Coach Jim Heffernan of Illinois before the season started, and he had all intentions on trying to win this, put as much effort in as he could to win this tournament. He feels it's a springboard for a lot more national attention than they've received in the last couple of years, and I think his wrestlers are ready. I think they've done a good job. They've not won all the ones that they wanted to, but they've given a good hard fight all the way through.
Did have a setback. Obviously, we balked up earlier. They had a 16-1 heavyweight, Mr. Walker, for them. So that's going to be tough for them, And but they're rebounding good here too. And you know, we talked about the woulda, coulda, shouldas of the tournament. One was Devin Carter, could have been a big point winner for the Virginia Tech Hokies and Coach Kevin Dresser, but he's redshirting this year, and he is doing good. He was, we thought he probably might repeat and be the champ, but he's going for third place, and Illinois is doing good even without the absence, with the absence of Mr. Walker, 96.5 points. So Illinois is in the driver's seat. Right behind them, you ready for this, for third, fourth, and fifth. Not many points, only 2.5 points separate, by the way. Oregon State's in third, then Lehigh, and then the Oklahoma Sooners with 73. And right behind them is the Chippewas. And everybody's got some finalists. You ready for this? Lehigh with 3 finalists. Chad Hankey, I believe, is the only finalist for Oregon State in third place. In fourth place is Lehigh, and they have 3 finalists. So they could jump here pretty quick, you know, and get up there in front of some of these other teams. Oklahoma has 2 finalists here. The Sooners do. Chippewas have 1. Michigan has 3. Wrestlebacks. Northwestern has Jason Welch, I got to believe, is in the finals there for Northwestern. Pitt, you ready for this? The 9th place team has 2 finalists, so 2 finalists there for Pitt. And then North Dakota State has no finalists, but I believe Sprinkle and Steve Monk is still wrestling
they're
for
still
them.
in the consolations.
The consolation. So Northern Iowa, no finalists. Trying to think here, down here. Binghamton with Vincent. I got to believe it's Donnie Vincent. They have a finalist. And then Nebraska, Kokish is in the finalists. And he could be in a run possibly for the OW, him or Dustin Kilgore. You know, but
and
they've both been tearing it up.
That's right.
Kokish and Kilgore both just been tearing it up. Of course, some other people that talk about should a OW go to a wrestler that upsets people. And how about this? How about Tim Brown? Brown doing good for the number 9 seed. And there's another couple ones in there too as well. But we're having fun here.
Yeah, Brown is the lowest seed.
Yeah, he is.
In this one, being the number 9. A couple of the weight classes, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, right.
And that, but or close to that. And who knows what's going to happen? We talked about last year with Lee Munster of Northwestern. He was not a number 1 or a number 2 seed by any means, and he ended up winning it. So
Brown gets the honors of taking on one of the few that we think could get an OW, and that's Kokish. I believe, is that right? Isn't that his opponent? I think from Nebraska's Kokish
right here.
Bonus points in about every match, and they're introducing some real special people right now. We're going to go to our national anthem right now, so we'll bring that to you here as it's played. Just stand and salute our flag of the United States of America, greatest country in the world.
Well, we had a real oddity going on there. We just had the national anthem, and just about everybody in this arena sang during that.
Yeah, that was good.
That was really great to hear.
Yeah.
And we're pleased to hear that.
I was amazed they knew most of the words, you know?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That impressed me.
Okay, I want to remind our audience, if they didn't hear it from our earlier broadcast, that we're going to be doing 3 mats out here simultaneously. The first place match will be mat number 1 in the center. They've numbered them appropriately. Off to our right is going to be the third place match, and that will be mat 3. So if we reference mat 3, we're talking about the third place match. And then over on our left is mat number 5, and that will be for 5th and 6th place. So in order to save time, because things are fast and furious here, we may just say over at mat 3 or mat 5, and you'll know which one we're talking about. Now, we hope that we've given you a quick rundown on a few of the matches for here, but if you want to get the brackets and take a look at them, just go to gregzafros.com. We've mentioned that throughout this tournament here, and so hopefully you're sick of hearing it, but at least many of you have gone to it. We know that. And it's just Greg Zafros, Gregzafros. I haven't ever changed my name. Oh, yeah, actually, I did. gregzafros.com. There all you'll see is a link, and it'll say Midlands bracket. Just click on that. You'll have a PDF file with all the brackets, the same brackets we're looking at right up in front of you. So we're getting about ready to start. I think it's going to be, there are going to be a few presentations here, I believe. They've had some already. The wrestlers are getting ready over at 125 pounds in the first round match. We're going to have Jesse Delgado of the University of Illinois, and he's going against Gerard Garnett of Virginia Tech. And these are the number 1 and the 2 teams in the standings. Illinois is winning it at this point with an 11-point lead. If Gerard Garnett is able to upset Jesse Delgado, he'll be able to cut that gap by 2 or 3 points, I believe it is.
He would. According to seeds, Garnett actually slightly favored, but Delgado is ranked high. Both these are just excellent 125-pounders, and Garnett had one of the matches of the tournament, possibly beating Corey Clark. That was huge how he came back and
125-pound weight class, one of the most even classes. There were 4 or 5 guys right at the top. Any one of them could win this.
Really good. Yeah.
It just depends on what kind of day you have. We've got Coach Kevin Dresser of Virginia Tech right out in front of us, and I saw Gerard Garnett just a few minutes ago. I don't see him now, but we're going to go with it. And over on the other side, we're going to have Jesse Delgado of Illinois. This is a real tear-up for me, I have to say. I'm originally from Illinois, and have always liked the University of Illinois, but I'm also living right now right near Virginia Tech. And so I have an affinity for both teams, which means I will be totally unbiased.
All right. Wow, Greg's going to be neutral.
Right.
Totally neutral, so that's a good job.
It's going to be fun. I mentioned earlier, if you listen to my broadcast, that I actually saw a little bit of a smile on Coach Kevin Dresser's face, and that's a guy who doesn't smile very often, you know. And so it was really nice to see it. He knows he's having a good tournament, and I mentioned him. He is really bringing his team up to national A-level prominence.
Well, Kevin Dresser's from Humboldt, Iowa, same town as Frank Gotch back in the day.
That's a suburb of Chicago, right?
Yeah, that'd be a long suburb out there a little ways. Probably more of a suburb of Fort Dodge or Algona. But anyway, he's from Humboldt, Iowa, where Frank Gotch is from. And the people that know things about the history of wrestling will know that Frank Gotch was probably the most famous wrestler to ever wrestle for their country and wrestle for the sport back in the day, Frank Gotch. And Kevin Dresser, I got to watch him wrestle back in the day, and him and Joe Gibbons, by the way, from Iowa State. Matches. They just traded him off, and then they had a real tough wrestler from northern Iowa, a 28-year-old Marine named Lou Sundegroth. And Sundegroth was a tough guy, and I just said that name, and I noticed Dresser turned around and looked at me. Yeah. Because I think he thought maybe I was telling him, watch out, Coach, Sundegroth's in the house. But they had some real great matches. Those 3 right there in the state, Sundegroth for Northern Iowa, Kevin Dresser for the Hawks, and Joe Gibbons for the Iowa State Cyclones were great. And Kevin Dresser, doesn't surprise me that he's doing what he's done there. And Jim Heffernan is another Iowa Hawkeye that's going to be in coaching for Delgado from the Illinois Fighting Illini. Yeah. So we got 2 Iowa alums actually in the coaching in each corner, one for Garnett, for VTech Hokies, and one for Delgado in the Fighting Illini.
Right, and I want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Brian Millick, who just happened to be the assistant coach at St. Ed's at the time that Jim Heffernan was there, and had a real influence on him. And Brian Millick is an outstanding coach, one of the better, if not among the best coaches, high school coaches in the United States. And I did talk to Jim Heffernan. He had nothing but platitudes to say for Coach Brian Millick. So if you're out there, Coach Millick, a shout out to you, and we hope you're listening to our broadcast.
Well, Heffernan was one of, was their brothers?
Yes.
John?
I don't remember.
There was a couple of Heffernans that wrestled for Iowa back in the day. I know he had a brother that was an All-American, and Jim Heffernan had some great matches. And, of course, it just so happens his Donnybrook, or everybody has a Nemish, was Tim Krieger of Iowa State. And, boy, those were some knockdown. I tell you, those were some knockdown dragouts, too. Krieger, by the way, was 2 overtime matches. 2 overtime losses from being Kel Sanderson.
Oh, really?
He only lost 2 matches in college, and they were both in overtime.
Wow.
And otherwise, him and Kel are actually still the only 2 wrestlers that ever been seeded #1 in the Nationals, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year.
Wow.
So Krieger was decent.
Yeah, I only made it 3 years. What can I say? For those of you who don't know it, we have referenced it before about the history on Coach Kevin Dresser. He was a high school coach for many years.
Yeah, he was.
In the state of Virginia, first at Grundy, Virginia, then moving over to Christiansburg. Darrell Weber took over for him at Christiansburg when he moved from Christiansburg to Virginia Tech. And a lot of people, when Tom Brands left Virginia Tech, he was there for a couple years and took his wrestlers with. And that, thought that Virginia Tech was on its way to the trash can. But it's not. Once they got Kevin Dresser in there, anybody who thought they weren't going to where they are totally underestimated Kevin Dresser. He's done a phenomenal job. And the best is to come. He's got a number of good recruiting classes, and he's got some good guys like Devin Carter. The defending champ. He's going to go for 3rd place here this year. He's got them on red shirt, so he's going to lose a couple good seniors this year, but he's going to have replacements for them next year.
The good ones just reload, and I'm sure Virginia Tech will do that. And talk about loading. Mark Perry brought with him in the Fighting Illini, Jesse Delgado. He was with Cal Poly, I think, right, with Perry back in the day, and then he came to Champaign-Urbana, beat Matt McDonough at Carver Hawkeye Arena as a freshman, and that's when all of a sudden everybody said, okay, here's a name we better start memorizing.
Right. And that was the only loss for Matt McDonough during the year. He won the national championships on that.
Jesse Delgado. So this is going to be a barn burner. I'm just looking forward to Delgado and Garnett.
Now, Garnett,
it's going to be a lot of fun.
Remember that Garnett was in the finals last year. He did wrestle Matt McDonough, the eventual national champion, and he did not win that match, but he was redshirting last year, probably was not in as good a condition as he would be if he had had several tough matches before to kind of build up to it.
He's at the top of his game.
And the other thing about it, we should mention right off the bat, he had one of the best, 2 Virginia Tech wrestlers have had about the 2 best come from behind victories. I have to say that Garnett won it in the last 1 second?
Yeah, it was
in the semifinals.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. They're saying here it turned out to be 10-6. He ended up regaining the riding time, I think, with that takedown. But Corey Clark really led that match.
Right, but what happened
to the end?
Right in the last seconds, he got like a reversal and back points for it was like a 5-point move. Or whatever it was to come from the point where everybody was kind of, Coach Dresser, everybody was kind of sad-eyed on the thing, and all of a sudden Garnett pulls this thing out. It was absolutely
amazing.
Amazing.
Proved that it's not over till it's over.
That's exactly it. I mean, like I say, it all happened in the last 4 or 5 seconds. It was absolutely amazing.
Good-looking freshman, though, right? Yeah. Or redshirt freshman there for Iowa coming up.
Yeah, Corey Clark.
He's going to be something special.
This guy is good. He's going
to be something
Matt
special.
McDonough is an outstanding wrestler for the University of Iowa, but
they claim they're having 1- and 2-point matches in practice.
Right. Once Corey Clark gets out there next year,
he'll probably just pick up where he left off.
Right,
so he's just going to hand him the baton and take off running.
Now the wrestlers have taken off their sweats at this point. Gerard Garnett is actually listening to his
about third and fourth
or whatever you have. Yeah, tell us about 3rd and 4th here. We've got Cullinan. For 3rd place, we've got Cullinan from Central Michigan University, and he's going against Corey Clark, who's wrestling unattached for the University of Iowa. And then for 5th place, we've got Jared Patterson of Oklahoma, and he's going against Trent Sprinkle from North Dakota State NDSU, who's making a real statement at the Midlands this year.
They've had some good matches. In fact, I think the Sprinkle match and Patterson match went ahead and got started. Same with 3rd place there between Clark and Cullinan. So Cullinan will be in the red. I'll write this down here, and in the green anklet will be the unattached redshirt freshman Clark for the Hawkeyes. Not scoring any points really for Iowa. Somehow they got Iowa with some points. I don't know how that is, but anyway, the championships are about ready to go. Greg Zafros, you'll take the lead on this. I'll do some fill for you, and then I'll try to keep you updated on what's going on in our,
sounds good.
In our thirds and fifths.
Okay, on mat number 1, remember, that's for first place. That match has just started. We've got Gerard Patterson of Virginia Tech in his gray uniform this time. They've had the orange ones previously, but these are their finals uniforms, I guess. And Jesse Delgado in the typical blue and orange with the big eye on in front of it for the University of Illinois. And they had a little bit of prancing around. The referee broke and brought him back. But each one is moving forward and back quite quickly. It's not a slow match out there. Delgado is putting his hand on the forehead of Garnett. Garnett pushes him down, spins behind, no points yet because Delgado spun around, got out in front of him. But we've got a front headlock by Garnett. He's got it on pretty tight, but they're going over to the edge of the mat. And the referee breaks it a little bit early, but I'm not going to complain, and brings him back to the center. Nice move there by both wrestlers. A nice shot by Garnett and a nice counter by Jesse Delgado.
I thought Garnett was going to get that takedown. He was actually literally physically behind Delgado.
And there's an ankle pick by Garnett. And Jesse Delgado, with his strength, comes back and grabs Garnett's leg and has it lifted up on his shoulder right now. So Garnett with the offensive move, but Delgado getting the upper hand here, but there's no points yet. Okay,
Garnett up in the air, his leg.
Right, Garnett is bouncing around on one leg, and okay, Delgado tries to bring him down, but there must be
a whizzer.
Yeah, there must be a whizzer in there. We can't see it here, but the no points have been given yet. And let's see if the referee is quick on the whistle again, like he was over in the other corner.
Delgado needs a limp arm out of that. Garnett just needs to. Oh, nice move by Garnett, bringing his arm back up behind the back.
Yeah, Garnett has the old-time arm lever on him, and the referee breaks it and brings it back to the center. This is an exciting match already, and if these guys keep it up, this could be a barn burner. It already is. Back to the center they go. We've got Garnett on our left and Delgado on our right. Both of them prancing around a bit. Delgado continuing to bring his hand out and pushing Garnett's forehead. And Garnett dropping down low. Okay, he's the smaller of the two wrestlers. Really, most of the shots have been by Virginia Tech.
Big pin by Sprinkle, I believe. Or did he get... No.
Yeah, the match is over.
That's
Sprinkle.
it. He was trailing.
Okay, that's for 5th place. Trent Sprinkle of NDSU, North Dakota State University.
Big, man.
Wins it with a pin.
So Monk isn't the only one that can pin for them. What do you see in the finals, Greg?
We've got a shot over here by Delgado. It basically his first real good shot, and he's in pretty deep. But Garnett is pushing his head down and trying to work for that front headlock. But a nice clinch there around Garnett's leg by Delgado, and I think he's going to turn him right now. No, let's see if we can get that whizzer in there. Nice move by Garnett to get out of it, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold off much longer. Delgado lifts his leg up. It's off the mat there, and again, we got Garnett bouncing around on one foot. Delgado didn't get it last time he was in here. Let's see if he gets it this time. Got a strong whizzer in by Garnett.
They've been in that whizzer quite a few times here, Greg.
And again, as we mentioned before, this referee only lets that go for so long. And Garnett pulls the far arm on that and breaks Delgado down. Let's see if he can get around, but I think we're going to have a stalemate on this.
Each one of these opponents having a hard time getting behind the other one. I mean, just kind of been going shoelace to shoelace and getting into some scramble situation here.
Delgado sitting up on that, trying to tip. Oh, the referee breaks it.
Period over. Oh, 1 second to go, huh? Or no?
Yeah.
Up to that.
Okay, so let's see who the choice is here. Red chooses down.
So that's going to be Delgado.
He'll be down.
Garnett will start on top. Cullinan and Clark are scoreless. 57 seconds to go in the second period. A lot of riding time for Cullinan from the Central Michigan Chippewas. 1 minute and 3 seconds of riding time, so he is just over. Greg Zafros?
Okay, so we started on the second period. Well, Jesse Delgado took down. He did a quick stand-up, but Gerard Garnett just lifted him off the ground, tilted him, and slammed it back down, and that's kind of his way. The only thing here is that Delgado is bigger than Garnett, and Delgado pulls at the hands, gets himself out for a one-point lead, 1-0.
So we got a 1-point match, 0-0 down there between Cullinan and Clark, the redshirt freshman, wrestling unattached for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Jesse Delgado is one of the bigger 125-pounders. And he is He is bigger than Garnett, no question about it. But Garnett is just real wiry and quick. They're both extremely quick. That's why nothing's happening here. Great shots, great moves, great counters, but very few points. It's 1-0 in favor of Jesse Delgado.
Get that cat quick like reflexes. People just move and the other guy reacts, and then nothing really comes to fruition as far as points scored. There's been plenty of action.
Yeah, now they've kind of slowed down a little bit. We got a double underhook by Garnett, but Jesse Delgado puts his head on his shoulder, you know, on Garnett's shoulder and pushes back on it, so nothing's happening. So all of a sudden, the pace of things has slowed down. The referee's sending him back to the middle. 1-0 in favor of Jesse Delgado. Now remember, we have to assume that Garnett will probably choose the down position in the third period. Good match, good match. Both wrestlers dancing out there. Okay, a little half shot by Garnett. Now there's another nice shot by Delgado.
And a good reaction by Garnett.
I know.
Again,
these guys are so fast. You can get 90% of the way in there and not finish that move off.
Clark releases Cullen in.
Okay, another shot by Delgado now, but they're over at the edge, just about out of bounds. He's going to have to turn Garnett to bring him back in to get the points. Because in order to get him down, he's going to have to push him forward. Okay, we still have nothing yet, and we're at along the edge. The referee is not turning off. Now Delgado, okay, they go out of bounds. It was a good move by Garnett. Delgado started to get up, and Garnett just reached over and threw a half Nelson on him and cranked him over, but cranked him all the way out of bounds. So in a sense, that was Garnett's way of getting out of that move. So they're back to the center, and
still
we've got
just 1-0.
And 5 seconds to go in the second period.
The lead is Delgado's from Illinois. Gets the escape.
So here
Garnett
we go.
Takes down.
Right, he just turns right around and signals down, and the coach did not, Coach Kevin Dresser did not wave it off. So
see if he can get out, get the escape, and then maybe it'll be a fight for the takedown, huh?
Okay, do we have riding time on our scoreboard? I don't know. Do we see it?
16 seconds advantage for Garnett.
Okay, we have to look up at the scoreboard up above. Okay, they're starting now, and we have a stand-up and sit-out by Gerard Garnett. He gets out in 9 seconds, and that ties the score at 1-1.
Both of them kind of hand fighting a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Nobody really making contact. They're kind of attacking from far distance.
Right. Obviously, we don't have any takedowns with a score of 1-1, but there are a lot of shots. And there's a grab by Garnett, and then some funk wrestling by Delgado. But Garnett, if he can turn around, he can be able to get this one. We get an ankle. We get an ankle by Delgado. If Garnett can grab that far ankle, he's going to try to crank him over.
Delgado trying to get a cradle, but Garnett trying to come out of that situation. Nope. Kind of shoelace to shoelace. And almost gotten a gator roll situation there.
And Garnett is actually sitting on Delgado right now. It can go either way. It can go either way.
They've been in this 3 or 4 times already.
And Kevin Dresser is saying that's 2, that's 2. You know, referees can give 2 points if your leg or foot is trapped, and that's what we have right here.
Delgado now changing his level. Garnett real wisely trying to keep his head above his opponent. That's very smart of him.
Okay, we have
keeping his head above his opponent.
45 seconds to go, and Mark Perry going crazy over in the Illinois corner there. Who's going to get this one? I think Delgado's got the advantage right at this point. Okay, and there we have a break.
Going to do a fresh start.
Ooh, boy.
Wow, 33 seconds to go. It's 1-1.
Okay, we have matches going for 3rd and 5th, but this is just too exciting in the...
Clark and Cullinan, they've opened up down there. They're 4-4, 54 seconds to go in the sudden victory. So we got a sudden victory for 3rd over there between Clark and Cullinan.
Okay, we've got 33 seconds back on mat number 1. Score again tied 1-1, and we're in the 3rd period. So 28 seconds is all we have left, or we're going into OT. Okay, there's a shot by Delgado. It's off at the edge, and we've got a sprawl by Garnett. Nice sprawl on that. They go out of bounds, bring them back. We have 17 seconds. At the rate they've been going, there have been no takedowns. I think we're going to be going into overtime.
Sudden victory down here. A lot of scrambling going on between Central Michigan and the unattached Corey Clark for the University of Iowa.
Want to remind you that Garnett beat Corey Clark in the last 4 seconds or so in the last match. And Delgado is backing up. Garnett is going forward, and that's the end of that regulation on this. We're going into period number 4. That's a 1-minute overtime sudden victory, we call it, not sudden death anymore. Sudden victory. They're going to start on their feet. Any point scored is going to win it.
So here we go. We'll see if somebody can get a takedown. They do, they win instantly.
Okay. They're both cranking up the speed just like they started the match, with a lot of prancing around by Delgado. Now we've got getting a tie up here right along the edge of the mat. There's been a fair amount of wrestling near the edge of the mat.
With the 30-second ride-outs.
Okay, we're going to get no takedown, but Delgado's possibly going to get it. Now we've got a whizzer in by Garnett, and he's trying to put in a cradle. Over
from
the
his
side,
feet.
Trying to take him over, and he gets the takedown. That's the takedown for Garnett. Jared Garnett is the winner, but he's got him in a pinning combination. He has the capability to get extra points, and Delgado gets out of it.
It's over.
And the win for Gerard Garnett of Virginia Tech.
Garnett is your champion
and
for
I
Virginia
saw
Tech.
that's the first time I've seen a real smile on Kevin Dresser's face. He was high-fiving his assistant coaches, David Hoffman. Okay, so Gerard Garnett finished second last year. He's the
Virginia
winner
Tech.
this year.
Virginia Tech.
Now remember, these are the #1 and the #2 teams in the team score, so this is going to bring Virginia Tech up closer. And Kevin Dresser is one happy fellow. He is one happy fellow.
Corey Clark's not over yet. Calling in. Same with those two. They're in their, what rideouts are we into? 5-4. Cullinan does lead, so. Oh, picking up some back points was Cullinan from Central Michigan. So that's huge for the Chippewas. 8-4 is the score, and that's it. That's final. Corey Clark takes 4th place unattached, and for 3rd place was the wrestler that beat Zanetta, the #1 seeded wrestler, Cullinan, for Central Michigan. So he takes 3rd place for the Chippewas. By the way, Zanetta, you say what happened to the #1 seed? 8th place.
All right.
For Pitt. So Zanetta having a tough tournament here, coming in seeded #1. So
okay, our next match is going to be a great one, and since it involves a former Iowa wrestler, we're going to let Steve Foster take over.
Daniel Dennis.
Daniel Dennis, right?
Okay, and Mr. Mango.
Ryan Mango.
Ryan Mango and Stanford, and Daniel Dennis. Ryan Mango, the brother of Spencer Mango, an Olympian, out from the California way. And this would be fun. You know, Mangos are both very powerful, very explosive. Daniel Dennis being a veteran and wrestling, he's a post-grad, so he's graduated from the University of Iowa and had a lot of great matches for the Hawkeyes over the years. But right now, Mango jumps in and gets the takedown. And we've seen, too, Greg, when Mango gets the lead, it's tough to, you don't want to get too far behind Mango too fast, or you're going to have your work cut out for you.
Yeah, and let's remind our listeners that his brother is our national Greco-Roman wrestler, and I'm sure they've rolled around in the living room, and so.
And he likes the upper body,
right,
probably because wrestling with his brother Spencer.
Right. I mean, so we might see some throws out here.
He likes that upper body wrestling. And Daniel Dennis coming back out of, I don't know if he's officially completely retired. I don't believe he has, but he has graduated already from the University of Iowa. Coach Tom Brands.
Over on the 5th place bout, right now we've got Port of Edinburgh leading Henderson of North Carolina by a score of 4-1. That's still in the 1st period.
Good Russian tie there by Daniel Dennis. He likes doing that Russian 2-on-1 arm tie. Kind of back. Do you remember the wrestler Kevin Darkus back in the day? Darkus loved that very much. It can be very effective, but Mango wisely steps out of that each time, and Mango does lead 2-0, or 2-1. Sorry, Dennis did get the escape. It's 1:43 to go in the 1st period. A little bit of riding time for Mango. 12 seconds of riding time. So Daniel Dennis love going after that 2-on-1 arm tie, and Mango's. He's been backing out of it wisely. Big inside trip there by Dennis. Tried to throw Mango on his back, but ended up getting no points out of that whatsoever. So,
okay, and we have a timeout here. We have some blood time on Ryan Mango.
Morning Stars coaching for Dennis, former wrestler for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And what was your comment, Greg? Okay, yep. And Mango, he's got a little blood time, right? You say, yeah,
right.
Has some blood time here for Ryan Mango. And coming back out, there is 1:25 to go in the 1st period. 2-1, Mango leads. 12 seconds of riding time in favor of Mango right now. So Daniel Dennis kind of trying to work that 2-on-1 Russian tie. They're in a collar tie right now. He goes right back to it again. Now he tried the inside trip, Mango, with, nice little foot trip with a, gets a single leg, finishes it, or does he? Mango not being able to be brought back down to the mat yet. They're on the edge of the mat, 2-point takedown. Now Daniel Dennis takes the lead, 3-2, and getting rid of that little bit of riding time that Mango had, that 12 seconds. And I don't think either conditioning shouldn't be a factor, either one of these wrestlers. Neither one of them seemed to tire at all. They both seemed real strong all the way through. Morningstar coaching for Daniel Dennis in the corner.
And we've got another timeout, medical timeout here. We've got blood on
some more blood time on Mango, yeah.
Time, and we got people out on the mat cleaning up. And back in the old days when I used to wrestle, you didn't stop for anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, you wiped it up with with your own towel after the match was over.
All that mat was the mat got a little slipperier in certain spots.
You stayed away from certain areas of the mat.
Just means it got a little slipperier. So
okay,
Mango starts down, Dennis on top.
51 seconds left in the first period.
Yep, 3-2, Dennis leads, and 4 seconds of riding time for Mango, but that's going to be erased and maybe start heading Dennis's way here a little bit. So
Port still ahead of Henderson over in the fifth place bout by a score of 4-1. That's the same score. Getting to the end of the second period.
And Mango's out, so Mango gets the escape, ties it up, 3-3. 10 seconds of riding time now for Dennis. We're all tied up. So 30 seconds to go. We're still in the first period. So a lot of action going on in this match at 133 pounds between the two wrestlers. They go out of bounds. We've got a fresh start. Keith Poolman will bring them back out of Clarion, Iowa. Keith, we've seen him referee for many years, doing a good job. Keeping track of what's going on out there on the mat. 13 seconds to go now between Dennis and Mango. Mango's had a great tournament. He got here coming through the top bracket. He beat Thelke. Dennis in there. Did he get 2 or not?
Oh, the referees are conferring on this one.
Keith Pullman said no, he didn't get it. So, wow, literally right at the buzzer. Daniel Dennis looked like he had Mango taken down, and it was waved off.
Right, and what happened is that Mango's butt was outside the line, although, you know, it's not a line that you have to step on. You know, it's like a wall around there, and Mango's feet were in, so I'm not exactly sure what the call was.
Right. I just wanted to make sure we could say butt on the air, but 1:47 to go in the second period.
Mango's derriere was up in the air over the mat. Should I try a couple more?
No, let's not get it started. It'll go the wrong direction.
We got a shot by Ryan Mango.
Oh, look at him in there deep on a single leg, coming up with a tight waist. Oh, he throws Daniel Dennis. There's that Greco-Roman throw.
And we talked about that.
Dennis looked like he was in shock. He's actually knocked on. He's a little dizzy here.
Well, what happened here is that the cotton stuffed up in Ryan Mango's nose.
And Daniel Dennis right now is real dizzy.
Yeah.
He's not walking straight.
I wonder what it is in the rule book for flying bloody cotton on the mat. You know,
I'm not sure.
They're
5-4, big takedown there by Mango. Dennis knew enough to not stay on his back, but boy, that's a big slam to the mat by Mango. 5-4, 1:26 to go in the second period. Mango leads just 1 second of riding time. So Daniel Dennis just trying to recover here, making sure that he looked like he was just kind of knocked dizzy there, knocked silly, as you might say, but he's recovered, taking some air in, talking to Morningstar in his corner.
Real quick, guys, team point standings. The battle is on. 96.5 points for Illinois. Virginia Tech just had a big score in that first at 125. They were stuck at 85.5, so 11 points behind. Virginia Tech now improves their position. We'll get you an updated score as it happens.
Yes, they won. The Garnett won a big match there against Jesse Delgado of Illinois. The Illinois team, and Dennis is up and out. He's tied it up 5-5. So Mango in there right away.
Oh,
drug his feet. No takedown there by Mango. So both of them have had kind of controversial finishes there on the edge. So maybe we're even in that part.
Right, we had this driving double leg by Ryan Mango, and he just drove Dennis right off the mat.
Real quick, here's your team update. 89.5 points for Virginia Tech. They closed the gap. closing the gap. Now 7-point spread the two, 7-point spread between Virginia Tech and Illinois, your leader.
Thank you, Scott Casber, and 58 seconds to go. Second period. Appreciate the updates there, Scott. And we got more blood time, so here we go.
Okay,
this is going to slow this match down, obviously. It already has.
Okay,
what do you see, Greg
Let's take
Zafros?
a minute over on mat number 5. Again, that's for 5th place. We've got Port leading that one now. He's been leading by a score of 4-0. Now he's going again. He's up to 6-0 on that. That's Port from Edinburgh and Henderson from North Carolina.
I think we have third. Tyler Graff.
Well, it says Tyler Graff. He's not wearing is that
white?
Wisconsin?
Yeah, they have
He's wearing
white
the white. The Wisconsin.
He leads 8-5.
The old kind
over Beckman. So red and green. Beckman of Lehigh, by the way, unattached. We're back to action here in the championship match. 49 seconds to go in the second period. All tied up, 5-5. Riding time just 1 second, so that's 7 seconds, pardon me, so that's really not a factor, obviously. As they go out of bounds again, Dennis and Mango. Daniel Dennis and Ryan Mango. Dennis in there on a nice leg reach there, trying to get a single, maybe switching off to a double, but Garnett doing a good job keeping his hips elevated, his head high, trying to reposition himself, see if he can't scoot back and try to take Dennis down. They're in a situation where Keith Pullman says, this is going to be a stalemate, we're going to do a fresh start. That's exactly what they do with 21 seconds to go in the second period. 5-5, collar tie. Both wrestlers have had some real close takedown. There's Dennis with a big takedown reach there. Very fast was Daniel Dennis. 7-5 with that takedown. Just 4 seconds to go in the second period. So the end of the period and the edge of the mat. It's the best place to get a takedown, isn't it?
That's right.
Big takedown there by Daniel Dennis. Leads 7-5.
Stop and think of it. At the end of the second period, 7-5. That's a lot of points scored, and there's been even more action than the points. So it's been a good match.
It's been a barn burner. They've really been going after each other. So, and Mango starts on the top, bottom. Dennis on the top. Daniel Dennis up to his feet, trying an inside stand-up, but nice spiral ride, kind of switching sides is Daniel Dennis on that tight waist. He's going to intentionally release Mango. Mango doesn't turn into him right away, and sometimes you get called for stalling on that, if I remember right. We've seen that happen in the tournament, where your opponent releases you, but you don't turn into him. Sometimes Mango, for instance, could have been called for stalling, but Dennis is going to start on top. No escape there. No separation between the athletes. Dennis goes back and forth. He can ride either on the right side or the left side, and it might be confusing Mango a little bit, but he's got the spiral ride there, right there. And nice half Nelson try, but a Granby roll from his feet is Mango, and he gets him an escape. So 7-6.
It wasn't even really a Granby. It was like a modified, what do you call it?
Somersault.
It was a cartwheel, was what I thought.
So it's like that would be a combination of 3 there.
Yeah, he had a trifecta going, too, but he didn't get a point for each one, or he'd have got 3 points. So.
That's right.
Okay, let's say that Tyler Graff of Wisconsin just won his match for third place in this weight class, and we have a new match going on over on mat 5, and that's Eric Rahales of Michigan. He's going against your buddy Nick Lester of Oklahoma.
Yeah, one of the Lester brothers.
Right. Right now, Nick Lester is leading by 2 points.
All right. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by our friends at Kemin Agri-Foods, ASICS, Brute, and our friends to the National Guard.
Thank you, Scott Casber. Riding the head here tough is Daniel Dennis from the front position. 7-6 is the score. 40 seconds of riding time for Dennis. 32 seconds to go in the match. So I look for these two to kind of open up here pretty quick. They got 30 seconds, approximately 30 seconds to determine this, who's going to win. So Mango's obviously within striking distance. And he shoots on Daniel Dennis, liking that 2-on-1 Russian arm tie there. Trying for a reach of the ankle. He's going to wrestle smart, be busy. Mango likes the outside shots, a double leg try. Now Mango with an upper body lock. He's trying to throw Dennis. He's trying to horse him.
Well, he's got
inside trip there by Mango. Takes Dennis down to his rear end, and that's 2-point takedown by Mango.
No time left. No time left, right at the buzzer.
2-point takedown for Mango, and Mango wins it 8-7 by a point. riding time was not a factor.
Well,
Big inside trip.
And Daniel Dennis has got to be disappointed. Mango is elated, of course. We saw a combination of freestyle, college, and Greco in this match, and it paid off. Versatility ruled this match from beginning to end. The final score?
8-7.
8-7.
Favor of Mango. So, wow, came out and won it with that inside trip. He likes the upper body maneuver, so you saw that coming. He tried to throw Dennis twice. He went out of bounds, and he came in and went from the upper body lock into an inside trip.
And what these first two matches tell us is that if you are not here at the Midlands tournament watching this, you are missing something absolutely fantastic.
Well, you are. Yeah. There's no question in my mind. No question at all.
Okay, Nick Lester is now winning by a score of 4-0 over on mat number 5. He's going against Eric Grajales of Michigan. Okay. And AJ Shoup, okay, is he out? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we have a little problem with 5th place. Okay, we're getting ready for the 149-pound weight class. The 141-pound weight class. And this could be a little bit possibility of a feature bout because we have a little revenge match here. This is Kendrick Maple of Oklahoma. The number 1 seed and the number 1 ranked wrestler in the United States, college level. And he's going against B.J. Futrell of the University of Illinois. Now, these two met at the All-Star meet back on November 3rd at American University. And what we noticed there, B.J. Futrell has moved up a weight class this year. He's not quite as big as some of the others, but I have to say that he looks like he's grown since November 3rd. That's about a month and a half. And he looks bigger now than he did then.
And Greg, you and I mentioned when Futrell attacks, it's better for him.
Yeah,
when he stands around flat-footed, he gets in trouble.
Right, and I've watched
this whole tournament, we recognize that.
I've watched some of his matches on the internet, and Futrell is getting better during the season, even though the season is young.
He's going to have a problem with the attack because he's got to go after Mr. Maple, and that's not going to be easy for him. But he's got to keep his offense going because Maple, if you stand flat-footed, he's going to take you down. Last year's OW at this tournament.
Not only the winner last year, but the outstanding wrestler and a very nice guy. We've talked to him afterwards. It was really nice. Yeah. But B.J. Futrell has been wrestling really well, and he's wrestling him for the 2nd time now. So the question is, what did B.J. Futrell learn in that first match?
Well, what did you learn in the first match?
That it was all downhill from there. After that.
It was.
My very first college match was my high point. After that, it was all downhill.
You wrestled Joe Forfeit, right?
Earlier today, actually just a couple hours ago, Ken Kraft and the balance of the champions from 1963 joined Greg Zafros upstairs, as Greg was one of the hosts of the event. And I'll tell you what, Mrs. Kraft was there. And it was a wonderful outpouring of love for and appreciation for a man who, well, obviously saw something in an event that had never been invented. And the 50th edition of this tournament, which you wrestled in, by the way, 49 plus years ago, it ended up being a tremendous opportunity for kids to be able to wrestle closer to home during the holidays.
Right, and I particularly enjoyed that banquet that we went to, or whatever you want to call it, and that I saw several people there that I hadn't seen for almost 50 years, and a lot of top-notch wrestlers, friends of mine and whatever, who we just sort of parted ways and never crossed paths again. So I have to say,
did you get some email addresses?
I did.
It's weird. I see him and talk to him quite often. Anyway, Mark Cody out there, his assistant coach Michael Leitner, in the corner of a young man that we think so much of. He was on our radio program just this weekend, and last weekend I should say, Greg, and I know you're a big fan of him as well.
Right.
Lehigh and Oklahoma is in a battle for 3rd last I saw. I don't know how it's going now, but these are important points for Oklahoma as well as Illinois, the leading team.
Okay, we're ready to go now. 141 pounds. This is Kendrick Maple of Oklahoma, and he's going against B.J. Futrell. Now remember, I told you before, these guys met on November 3rd, and I'll tell you, there was a little shot in there by Kendrick Maple, and B.J. Futrell grabbed him by the shoulders and kind of threw him off the mat. He says, boy, you're not going to do this to me again like you did back on November 3rd. So
Futrell needs to keep the pace going. He needs to keep up with Kendrick Maple because Maple's got a high speed match. He can be strong and fast.
I've watched B.J. Futrell wrestle previously, not only at the University of Illinois. I saw him a couple times in high school, and I have to say yesterday was about the best wrestling I've ever seen him do. So
yeah, he was on the attack.
Yeah, he was really on a roll, and let's see what happens in this match.
This is going to be a big deciding factor here between whether or not Illinois can hang on.
That's right.
Or Virginia Tech continues to sneak up. They need this point. They need this point getter, and they need this championship.
And Oklahoma needs this to either surpass Lehigh or keep up with Lehigh, because last I knew, Oklahoma and Lehigh were in a tussle for 4th and 5th. And then down here for Oregon State is wrestling Devin Carter, and I believe Michael Mangrum leads Devin Carter right now. Oh, Devin Carter gets out and ties it up 1-1.
Okay, and over on mat number 5, it looks like Nick Lester is up 9-0 now over Eric Grajales.
That's some more points possibly for Oklahoma.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to get some more now. Okay, back to the center. We haven't said too much about it because not too much has happened. We had a little flurry in the very beginning, but then the wrestlers started slowing down with that throw by B.J. Futrell. I mean, he literally took Maple, grabbed him by the shoulders, and threw him about 8 feet over on that.
Well, he's so late.
Yeah. That was a big throw, so...
Okay,
1 minute and 10 seconds to go in the first period. We're scoreless, 0-0 out here in the championship match between Maple and Futrell. Futrell, Illinois, got the Big 10 and the Big 12 battling, by the way, out here, folks. So.
And as we've seen before, Kendrick Maple doing a lot of wrestling and with one knee on the mat, trying to take that low shot, and there's a shot in by Maple, and they go out of bounds. That's the closest thing we've had to a takedown so far.
Maple's best too when he attacks, and he did. Lester did win over here against Grajales.
Right,
so.
It was 9-0 at one point. It looks like it's 10-2 for the final.
So major, and that picks up some more points for Oklahoma, who's in the run here, and Devin Carter, I believe, and Michael Mangrum still tied up. They're going to go into sudden victory, I bet.
Okay.
It's 1-1. Main match. Greg, what do you see?
Well, now we have both wrestlers down on their knees, then they're back up again, so they're trying to just get their levels set on this. Obviously, they're going to be cautious. They've wrestled each other already this year, so, you know, they know what their opponent is like, and
they like that tripod stance.
Yep.
You know, kind of the football stance. They get in that tripod stance, and I think it's their way of exploding out and doing some quick wrestling. And it's the close of the closing seconds. There's your first period, folks.
Right.
We're scoreless, 0-0.
Yeah, no score, not necessarily a lot of shots, but a lot of activity out there.
Maple takes down. So Mark Cody looked at Coach Mark Cody and pointed down, and Michael Leitner as well.
I'm not sure that B.J. Futrell is being as aggressive as he needs to be to win this match, but we're just going to have to see what happens in these next
In the corner of
periods.
Illinois is Mark Perry. And
any of you know, okay, there's a
big trip.
Okay,
B.J. Futrell, there you go. Wow.
2-point reversal by Kendrick Maple. That's about the 4th reversal we've had in this tournament in 600 and some matches.
So fast it was almost hard to see it. These two guys are quick.
Okay, how many of you counted, Scott?
7.
7. I'm sorry.
Clearly you missed a few.
I stand corrected.
Two reversals I saw was at the dinner table.
Yes.
I decided to get more dessert. Changed my mind.
Okay,
2-0.
Okay, 2-0. B.J. Futrell down. We've got 1 minute and 52 to go in the second period, and Scott Casber, once he stops laughing and stuff, will be joining us again.
Thank you. Boy, look at this. Got down for us. Thanks, Keith.
Okay, we're starting in again. B.J. Futrell standing up. He's peeling the arms off, but a nice ankle pick by Kendrick Maple. He actually gets him and pulls on the ankle and then throws a half Nelson in, but he didn't crank it over. But he is hugging on B.J. Futrell really tight. They're at the edge of the mat right now. Probably go out.
When Maple is on top, he can stick to you like glue.
He can, boy. Hip to hip.
These two guys are so similar in their body styles and in their wrestling. It's not even funny. It's no surprise that they meet here in the championships of the 2012 Midlands.
Yes, they do.
Okay, 1 minute and 31 to go in the second period. Again, it's 2-0 for Kendrick Maple. B.J. Futrell up on his feet, getting pushed back down again by Maple, who's wrapped around his leg, not quite a leg lace, just kind of straddling it and pushing down on B.J. Futrell's head. Just making it. Now B.J. Futrell sits up, tries to stand up. Now he's on all fours. He tries a Granby roll through.
He's frustrating Futrell is Maple, and Maple right now is having every way he wants. I mean, he is having his way.
Up 50 seconds of riding time.
He's doing an exceptional job. Is Maple right now riding on top.
Steve Santos and Montel Marion locking it up over there on mat number 3 for third.
1 minute of riding time for Kendrick Maple right now.
Yep, so in essence right now he leads on the scoreboard 2-0, but 3-0 with riding time. That's not awarded until it's all over. Anything could happen. We've seen people lose those riding time points, and we've also seen it be the determining factor of the outcome. So
I want to thank our friends at the Big Ten Network. You'll see some highlights from the Big Ten Network on next week's edition of Takedown Wrestling Television. 43 million homes coast to coast and around the country. Check for it on your TV guide.
Montel Marion just getting a takedown there on mat number 3. He wrestled for both. You say, how is it possible? Do your research. Both of our alma maters is high school.
Yeah.
Valley and Roosevelt.
That's right.
Okay, back to mat number 1. That's the end of the second period there, and actually just Kendrick Maple just rode B.J. Futrell into the ground for the whole period. Now
minute 48 of riding time.
Yeah, they're both in the standing position for the third period, so it's good. You know,
takedown here is it's essential for Futrell. He's got to get a takedown.
And okay.
Instead, Maple's in deep on a shot.
Yeah. Futrell started kind of slapping at the face and the shoulders and stuff, and Maple changed his levels, dropped under him, and sneaked in there and got
Maple's been the aggressor in this match from the beginning to where we are right now in the third period, with 1:30 left to wrestle.
When Maple gets slapped in the face or tapped in the forehead, it's like putting out a welcome mat almost, or no vacancies, or a vacancy sign.
Right. And then he is
come and get it.
He is riding tough right now, just like Scott said a moment ago. He's on you like glue. And B.J. Futrell, remember, we mentioned earlier that he moved up a weight class. He's not quite as big as some of the other wrestlers. And actually, Kendrick Maple is not that big either, but B.J. Futrell is noticeably smaller, and he's being crushed at the moment. He just can't get out.
I think they have some blood, maybe?
Yeah, they have a blood there. And actually, I have to say that Maple pointed to the ref, or looked at the ref and pointed out a spot on there, and almost called it himself.
So we got an update. Scott Casber.
Here we go. Second place, Virginia Tech now with 92.5 points. Illinois with 96.5 points. So 4-point spread between number 2 and number 1. Remember, they started out 11-point separation.
And let's remember that in our next match at 149 pounds, you're going to have Nick Bracetta of Virginia Tech, and he's going to be he's going to have a tough road here against Donnie Vincent, but at least Virginia Tech has a shot of it.
Steve Foster.
Oklahoma just passed Lehigh 75-74 for fourth place, and Oregon State picked up some points there. We haven't seen the outcome of Devin Carter and Michael Mangrum, but if Mangrum won, then the Beavers got some more points as well.
But here's the deal, guys. You've got Lehigh with 3 in the championship round.
Yeah, that's huge for Lehigh Mountain Hawks.
Oklahoma.
What do you see?
Okay, 48 seconds to go in the third period with Kendrick Maple leading by 4 points. He just he's been riding a B.J. Futrell, just like we said, like glue in that, and the B.J. Futrell trying to get out, and Maple just drove him out of bounds. They go back to the center now.
Scott's always good at a riding time. What do we got for riding time up there, Scott?
2 minutes 52, and on the incline, 38 seconds remain in the third period, and it's all Kendrick Maple at this point, 4-0 for the Oklahoma Sooner.
Thank you, Scott.
I've got to say it's a little bit closer than what we saw at the All-Star meet between these two, but it's still a substantial spread. You know, it's a 5-0 match at this point, including the riding time. We've got 33 seconds to go. We've got Kendrick Maple on top. B.J. Futrell again on all fours.
Could be a shutout.
Yeah, standing up, trying to get out of there, but he has not been able to do it. And look at how much pressure that Kendrick Maple is putting on B.J. Futrell. And we've got, actually, Futrell was on all fours. Kendrick was on him like glue, according to Scott Casber, and the referee called it for lack of activity by either ref.
Super glue, by the way.
Super glue, right.
Yeah, just not any glue.
Okay, another stand-up by Futrell. He's up. He's trying to peel off, and Maple just spins him around. They go out of bounds.
The escape, so he does get the escape.
B.J. Futrell gets it, but there's only 10 seconds left. Actually, 8 at this point. He's down by 3.
Gonna be a little late here.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, and that is it. Kendrick Maple
doesn't pitch a shutout, but he gets 5-1 with 3:20 of riding time.
Right. So the second consecutive victory for Kendrick Maple at the Midlands tournament, and There aren't that many people. There are a lot of people who've won it once, but once you start getting to 2 and 3 times, that crowd goes
pretty
down
good company.
Yep. So. Okay, we're going to be going, as we said, to 149, and that's going to have Nick Bracetta of Virginia Tech, and he's going against Donnie Vincent. Now, Bracetta, young wrestler, very good, but you know, a little bit inexperienced. He's going against Donnie Vincent, who is the #1 ranked wrestler in the United States at this weight class.
All right, real quick, tonight's broadcast is being brought to you in part by the United States Marine Corps. For 237 years, they've been the very tip of the spear of our nation's defense. The few, the proud, the United States Marines. And by Worldwide Sports Supply. Find them online at www.sport.com. Fellas?
Steve Santos and Montel Mehring tied up. 19 seconds to go in the second period for third place. 2-2.
Okay, and back in the center, they've started that match between Nick Bracetta of Virginia Tech and Donnie Vincent. We mentioned just a moment ago, Donnie Vincent, a shot to the top in the last couple of weeks to be the #1 ranked wrestler in the United States. Nick Bracetta sort of coming out of nowhere. He is the #4 seed, so it's not that he's being unrecognized, but like I say, not the same recognition that Donnie Vincent has. But Bracetta has really
so a different kind of recognition.
Right. We've really been impressed with Bracetta throughout this tournament. The fact that he's in the finals here has been really good, but like I say, he's the #4 seed. So
some people say it's unsettling, but he has made it. You're right.
Virginia Tech and Donnie Vincent, the #1 seat and the #1 ranked wrestler in the nation here from Binghamton.
A foot sweep out there.
Vincent's hard to get to his legs.
Yeah.
It's real hard to get to Donnie Vincent's legs.
Yeah, they were spinning around, and Donnie Vincent just throwing a foot sweep in there and almost got it. But
willy-nilly, some would say.
Nice recovery by Bracetta.
Thank you.
They are wrestling in the center of the mat, which is nice because we haven't seen that, especially in that last match where they spent most
out
of the time
bounds. Yeah, not out of bounds.
Yeah,
calls.
They haven't moved out of the center yet. Just tying up and see it. 2-on-1 grab by Vincent.
Oklahoma's moved out into third place, by the way. 79 points heads Oklahoma. Second place, Virginia Tech with 92.5. Illinois with 96.5.
Okay, Nick Bracetta of Virginia Tech has a front headlock.
Donnie Vincent on the
Donnie
attack
Vincent just changes his level, drops down underneath, and almost gets the double leg grab on it. I won't call it a double leg takedown, but a double leg grab. And now we've changed it around where we've got the front headlock by Donnie Vincent.
Real good series wrestling there done by both
Fellas,
wrestlers.
this is so important for programs like Binghamton to be involved in these and challenging for titles. It's so important to look at Columbia over on mat #3, for example. There's so many opportunities for these smaller universities to get national visibility, and the Big Ten Network, Takedown, the rest of us, of course, doing what we can to make these guys visible.
Right. Now, I have to say Columbia is the biggest surprise to me in this tournament.
Yeah, they've been fun to watch. They've had some good wrestlers.
Right. Okay, back out of the center.
Santos has been one of them.
On mat #1, we've got Bracetta out there. We had a shot in there. Oh, and an ankle pick by Bracetta, and he's got Vincent on. He's got the leg.
It was a tap and drop down.
That's right.
It was textbook.
Okay, and a step over by Bracetta, which could give the 2 points, and Virginia Tech is calling for it. That's it. 2 points for Nick Bracetta. The #4 seed going against the #1 ranked wrestler in the United States. Now he's lifting Vincent over and throws him down.
This Bracetta is good. He's had a good tournament.
Yeah.
The #4 seed in the finals.
Vincent's had a great tournament too. These guys are going at it. I think Vincent's going to get out now. No, Bracetta drops to the ankles. He's going to have to move up a little bit or he's going to get called on it, but we're mule kicking there with both legs.
I think the good tournament for Vincent's a little more, it was predicted. Maybe
referee Fred Sweeney out there.
Yeah. His one close match really was with Santos. They went 9-7.
2-point takedown there for maybe Santos.
Whistle to dead.
Yeah, we can't see that match going on over there.
Virginia Tech now on top.
Okay, that's the end of the first period, and we have a 2-point lead for Nick Bracetta of Virginia Tech over Donnie Vincent. Donnie Vincent from Binghamton.
Real controversial finish down there for
Coach Kevin Dresser is pacing behind us. He is not out on the mat in the coaches' chairs.
Well, this is highly indicative of what Kevin Dresser has going on at Virginia Tech. It's a big deal, and the university is treating it that way. They're putting a lot of resources behind Kevin Dresser.
Okay, we're starting the second period, and Vincent takes down, and Bracetta is riding him nicely. He's hooking around the legs. Vincent's up on, well, he's on a 3-point stance right now, and Brisetta's going a little bit high on that. I hope he's got some hooks on it because he is awfully high. Now he's dropping back a little bit, and Vincent was going for the hands to peel them off, and he gets out for 1 point. So with 1:30 to go in the second period, the score is now 2-1 in favor of Nick Brisetta of Virginia Tech.
Montel Meering was victorious over Santos down there. Real controversial finish for third place, but Meering was victorious and took third place.
We do have 53 seconds of riding time. Not a minute yet, but 53 seconds for Nick Brisetta. 7 more seconds, and man, he could have had that extra point. Okay, nice move. Oh, a nice move by Vincent, and then we get a counter on it by Brisetta, and he now has the upper hand, but they're right along the edge of the mat.
Here, Kevin Dresser in the background.
Brisetta could get it. No, they roll out of bounds. That was close.
Here, Kevin Dresser in the background, your coach there.
That's right.
Yeah, trying to get you guys a little bit of a mic side sound of what the coach was trying to tell his steed out here. And he's got a full complement of coaches, but man, oh man, Kevin Dresser is barking out the orders.
Yeah, well, Kevin Dresser, like Jim Heffernan, they don't always go down in those chairs. They like to sit back sometimes.
Stand back and observe from a distance.
Okay, we've got 37 seconds to go in the second period, and the score is 2-1 in favor of Nick Brisetta of Virginia Tech. And this is a little bit unexpected.
It really is. I thought Donnie Vincent might win this by a few points, but man, Brisetta really showing up for the Hokies.
You're right. They're over at the edge of the mat. If they go out, time is the advantage for Nick Brisetta. If he can use up some of that time, he's going to be the down wrestler in the third period, we presume at this point. He did get the takedown. Nice move by Donnie Vincent to spin around, but nice counter by Brisetta. Now we've got a double underhook. Okay, that's the end of the second period. The riding time remains at 53 seconds, and the score is 2-1 in favor of Nick Brisetta. And Brisetta takes down. That gives him a bit of an advantage if he can get out, if he can do it quickly and not take out that riding time, not drop that riding time too much.
Vincent's going to probably want to get rid of a little bit of that riding time.
Well, he's probably going to try, but Brisetta is going to do everything he can to get up and out.
Okay, they've gotten started. Brisetta immediately has got his head down, his forehead down on the mat. It's not a good position necessarily, but we'll have to see. And a real grab around, an over and under grab by Vincent out there. Now Brisetta stands up and gets out.
Up 3-1.
I think this goes to really show you guys how close number 2 and number 4 really are.
Yep.
It's tough, boy. They are, Scott. You're right. Vincent on the attack here. He's got the upper body.
And Donnie Vincent has ratcheted it up a little bit. He's starting to move a little bit faster. He knows it's getting toward the end. We've got 1:23 to go, the 3-1 lead, and riding time is down to 37 seconds.
So right now, Vincent needs to be on the attack. Vincent does.
Okay, there's another shot in by Brisetta, and he's in tight. He's got one leg. He's trying to shift to a double leg. He was kind of loose on that. He's stepping over the leg, and we can see he's either going to use up the clock or get some points at this point. So
Brisetta looks so confident.
If he can spin over and hip heist, he may be able to get this one. But if nothing else, if he can hang on and run out the time,
up nicely.
We have 51 seconds.
Third and final period. Vincent needs to do something big for his sake.
And Brisetta doesn't need to, but the referee breaks it for lack of activity. Stalemate, and they go back to the center, but we had a using up of about 20.
Good strategy by Brisetta.
Right, he used up about 20 seconds of time. We're down to 43 seconds.
Smart strategy by Brisetta, Virginia Tech.
I have to say, Brisetta is looking to be the better wrestler in this one.
Well, on this given night, perhaps. Right. We'll see. We still have time. We've got 29 seconds
Vincent
remaining.
Needs to do it.
Okay, we're getting a body lock by Vincent. And the referee breaks it. That brings it down to 24 seconds. All those breaks like that are the advantage of Nick Brisetta of Virginia Tech.
Donnie Vincent trying to shoot in. Another shot there.
And there have been no stalling calls yet, so Brisetta can take a stalling warning on that.
Right, yeah, just be a warning.
And that is the warning, and we're down to 10 seconds. But he can give up that 1 point if he stalls it out the last 10 seconds.
As long as Vincent doesn't get the takedown, it's 3-1.
And he knows it. He is backing up, and he'll take that. That call. 3 seconds to go.
1. That's it.
That is it. Virginia Tech wins it. Number 4 seed.
That's got to help their team points.
Well, we got 4 points when Gerard Garnett won it.
Yep.
If we had 4 on here, how much are we down? Are we tied or are we even?
It'll be awful close. That's big for Brisetta.
Nick Brisetta, the winner for Virginia Tech.
Well, if in fact he was a point getter.
Well, he's one of their better wrestlers. And let's see if we can get a smile out of Coach Kevin Dresser. A little one.
Here's where we're at. Virginia Tech, if that is a point getter and that is a champion for Virginia Tech, then that moves Virginia Tech into the lead. Now, what Illinois needs to do, Illinois will need to win all 3 of their conci bouts because they've got nobody left in the championship round. So this is where Virginia Tech needs to get awfully good at.
That was huge for the Hokies.
Or the concies have got to get awfully important for Illinois. How many of those guys in the consolation rounds are point scorers for Illinois? That's a really good question. It could come down to 1 point differential in this championship, Midlands championship. How about that?
I don't remember one ever being this close. I haven't made all 50 of them, but who cares? This has just been a barn burner from start to finish.
We've had one about this close, I think, since Scott and I've been attending. I just can't recall which one, but we had another one that was determined right towards the end there.
Right.
And but these are fun. These are the ones that keep you captivated.
Okay, and we're going to check on the map.
Indiana.
Map 3. Yep. Yeah, that's Walsh from Indiana. He's wrestling Isaac Jordan from Wisconsin. Is that what we've got?
Match 786.
That's it.
Yeah, Walsh and Jordan. And
it's 7-3 for Walsh, I guess.
Walsh is in red.
Excuse me, Walsh.
Jordan, the unattached Wisconsin. Jordan leads 7-3. Wow, he's looked good, hasn't he?
Oh, he's the future of Wisconsin wrestling. I'll tell you that right now. When you look at the past, Congressman Jordan. Now you look at the future, and it rides on not only his son that's on the mat here, but his other son who's on coaching staff.
Yes, and Thelke's going to be tough for Wisconsin too. So they got some stuff going up there at your alma mater.
Yeah. Okay, let's give you a preview of what we got coming up at 157. Our favorite funky wrestler out there from the host team, the Northwestern Wildcats, is Jason Welsh. The best wrestler on the Northwestern team, no question about it.
Your favorite funky.
My favorite.
It might be
funky.
one of our favorite funkies.
Well, I like Ivan Lopachansky.
Ben Askren.
Yeah, I like Ivan Lopachansky too from India. Is it Purdue or India? Purdue, I think. Okay, so we have Jason Welsh of Northwestern. He's going against Joey Napoli or Napoli, depending on whether you want to say it here in the United States or over in Italy. So we're going to go with
Napoli?
Yeah, we're going to go with Napoli right now, and they're out there pacing and going for it. Jason Welsh of Northwestern is the #1 seed, and Napoli is the #3 seed. They are pretty close, and they were expected that they could be in.
Some thought this might be a down year attendance-wise because the University of Iowa was not in attendance. Well, point of fact, it looks like their attendance is about the same.
Yeah, it looks good.
And they had an excellent attendance yesterday, one of the biggest crowds I've seen.
Well, they did, and they had Corey Clark from the University of Iowa, so we want to give Corey Clark and other Hawkeyes some great.
Brooks came in here good. Unattached wrestler for Iowa.
Okay, we're off and running here. 157 pounds. Jason Welsh and Joey Napoli of Lehigh. Lehigh.
Little review on Jason Welch. His history here, a little bit spotty.
Two-time All-American.
He was ranked #1 in the nation last year for a good portion of the season.
He really was.
Ended up, I believe, 5th at the Nationals. Didn't quite come out the way he wanted. So I think and I believe this is his senior year, so he wants to win it all. He is the defending Midlands champion at this weight class. Okay, we had a duck under try by Jason Welsh. It was nice, but he let go completely, and all we had to do was have Napoli step away from him, but it was at least a try. It was a duck under move and not one of his typical moves.
Now remember, Lehigh is the only one that can really make big strides. They sit in 5th place with 74 points. So I've got an update for you. There's a tie right now going on for 1st place between Illinois and Virginia Tech. The tie score is tied 96.5.
Is that exciting?
Wow.
It's fantastic.
Goodness.
It's fantastic.
I don't believe there's ever been a tie for the team title.
I got to tell you, Illinois and Virginia Tech are scuffling for the championship.
It is a scuffle.
Okay, not much
here
is going.
At the Midlands.
Not much is going on out there. There's 1:40 to go in the 1st period, and they're just kind of watching around. There's a shot in there by Napoli.
I guarantee you, Welch would love to turn this into a scramble situation.
And Walsh, being the funky wrestler that he is grabbing behind, trying to work his way around. They are at the edge of the mat, but Napoli has the ankle of Jason Welch. He's going to Welsh is going to try to lean back and flip him over, but that's pretty dangerous. He's actually trying to get 2 and back points.
Trying to get 2 and 2 possibly if he can, but the wrestler out of the state of California, wrestling for Northwestern, doesn't do it.
So they break him at the edge of the mat and bring him back. We're down to 1:14 in the first period. That was the first really good and substantial flurry we've had, but the wrestlers are out there actually working away. They're not sloughing it off at all. And Jason Welch appears to be a little bit more aggressive at this point. He is using the heavy hands on Napoli, pushing his head down, pushing him left and right, trying to not let him to set up anything. Now he's got 2 hands on one, you know, the wrist grab on that. And so he's trying to throw Napoli off balance and do some of his off-tempo. And
there's a shot there by Welch.
There's a sweep single over there. And we're back our funk wrestling just like we were before. And this, of course, is Jason Welch's specialty, so let's see if he can pull it out. He's rolled over, and now he's back facing down. Actually, Napoli's on top of him, but he's not necessarily at an advantage with that.
Napoli doing a real good job kind of shutting down the scramblability that Welch always possesses so much in his matches.
Right, and the ref just breaks and brings him back to the center. The referee here is not letting them go too terribly long in these positions here where not much is happening. I'm giving them about 10 seconds, and then he's calling the stalemate. Back to the center, and again, the heavy hands by Jason Welch. Again, trying to throw the balance off of Napoli.
Big scramble situation a couple times. Napoli doing a good job shutting down the up. Nice throw by.
Okay, and are we gonna get 2 points? He's got Napoli down right at the
no backs, just two takedowns.
2 takedown. He took him down right to his back.
And no back points. So wow.
Could have easily one more second.
Kind of saved by the bell there for
would have been 2 and
Napoli.
2. Right.
Caught him almost napping.
Okay, we're going to the second period, and the red wrestler. No, it looks like Napoli chooses down. I think the referee signaled that one wrong. Okay, we've got a crab ride by Jason Welch. He's on the top wrestler now. We're in the second period.
Totally unbiased.
5 seconds of riding time so far on the incline.
Totally unbiased, even though I grew up 20 minutes from here.
For Jason Welch.
Jason Welch, he's got the legs in now on him. He is a bit high. Jason Welch does have good balance, though, but sometimes it backfires on him, and we have seen that before.
Yeah, he has. You know, last year he had the habit of getting behind and then pinning his opponent, though. So that's not a bad habit as long as you can get the pin. So.
And right now, Jason Welch is getting riding time. He's up to 35 seconds of riding time, and that's not hurting at all. And Napoli is not doing anything down on the bottom. He could actually
Napoli on the bottom, you bet.
Yeah, he could be getting a stalling call any minute now.
Trying to get that bent leg Turk there as Welch up on top. And riding tough.
Yeah, they are over by the edge of the mat, so we're not going to be able to get a lot of these tilts that Jason Welch, I'm sure, is wanting to try. But in the position he is now, if he tilts him, he's going to tilt him right off the mat. Won't be getting any points from it.
You're listening to Takedown on the mat.com. Greg Zafros, Steve Foster, yours truly, Scott Casber, as we bring you the sights and sounds of all that is the 50th edition of the Ken Kraft Midlands Championships, where the elite meet to compete. 50 years, guys, and here we go with the Northwestern wrestler on top and in the driver's position.
Yeah, and he's been cranking away at that ankle grab for the last 30 or 40 seconds.
Riding time, Scott?
Minute 27. I'm sorry I was starting to say that, but Scott, I'll let you do it next time because you're always more precise than I am.
Not that it can't be, can it?
Yeah. Okay, we go back with second period, 33 seconds, and Jason Welch has ridden his opponent, Joey Napoli of Lehigh, for the full period.
So Napoli needs to get out. He needs to get some points. Welch really riding him tough here on top. Controlling those legs and the upper body at the same time, but Welch is doing some parallel riding here, and that's fine as long as you're trying to turn for back points.
Well, and he's floating too. It's not like he's stuck.
Yeah.
You know, he's actively moving across Napoli's back, repositioning, counter-positioning. Napoli knows where he's at. Good control there by Jason Welch.
Welch really dominating at this point. We're going into the third period. The score is 2-0, so it is still close from that perspective, but Jason Welch just rode him the whole 2 minutes. He actually has 1:59, even though he rode him the whole period. He's got
Drew Periano needs the victory from Jason Welch here.
Yeah, he does.
And you know what? It's not this is about a pride issue. Northwestern needs a champion here tonight, and this year, the 50th edition, and Jason Welch will forever go down in that book if indeed he is the man. He'll go down in that book as a big big winner here at the 50th edition of the Midlands Championships.
Okay, we've got former coach Jim Ciseski talking with current coach Drew Periano, and probably a little strategy session, or else he wants to borrow some money. We'll just have to see. But we've got Jason Welch taking the down position in period number 3. He is leading 2-0 with a riding time point. And he's
Welch up to his feet. Nice inside stand-up. Gets out, clears, gets an escape.
He's out in 2 seconds. The riding time dropped down from 1:59 to 1:57.
And maybe you've given the wrong point here, I think. He gave the point to Lehigh, I believe.
Yeah, it's right. It should be 3-1 at this point. They've got it as
3-0.
I mean 3-0. Now they're changing it.
Yeah, there they go.
Okay, and they're over at the edge of the mat again. I just think that there's another shot in by Jason Welch, but they're way out of bounds on that one. I think what's happening here is just Jason Welch is an offbeat, off-tempo, off-balance wrestler, and Joey
makes it difficult.
Napoli has not figured that out yet.
He's very unorthodox.
Right. It
makes it difficult.
Might be different the next time they wrestle.
Might be.
Yeah, Napoli's going to try to figure him out and see if he can't get with a different outcome, but it's not over till it's over. With 1 minute 57 seconds of riding time, officially Mr. Welch is up 4-0
right
now.
And he's not slowing down. He's still making as many moves and attempt.
Which is very intelligent by him. Yeah. Intelligent wrestling there to keep it busy and keep it moving.
Well, this is Northwestern University.
Sure,
you have to be pretty
between them and Harvard.
Yep.
You know, we always know they're wrestling the most intelligent way.
Now a flurry by Joey Napoli.
Napoli on the attack.
Yeah, he knows he's down now, and he's going after him, but nice job of countering by
He's trying to catch Welch napping, maybe. 50 seconds to go in the third period.
And Napoli is cranking it up, something he probably should have done in the very beginning. Okay, and they're going to go out of bounds. No, they go out of bounds back to the center. So
fresh start, third
40
period.
Seconds left. And it's basically a 4-0 lead, so Napoli's got his work cut out if he wants to win this thing. And
if indeed he's looking for work.
Yes.
Okay,
Napoli needs to.
We've got a front headlock by Napoli. Now, that's the first time he's really had some good control over Welch in the whole match.
Welch just does a good job of keeping him off balance and doesn't give you anything to attack. He's very busy.
19 seconds, and Welch can afford to take a stalling call to use up the time. We're down to 14 seconds now. We're at the edge of the mat, and I don't know what the strategy could be for Joey Napoli to win.
Nice shot there by Welch himself, actually, a reach shot. 7 seconds to go.
Remember, this is Jason Welch of Northwestern University, the host team, and they want to come out with a champ, and they're going to get it. Looks like
Had
it is.
a real good season here in our Midlands Championship for
and
Mr.
you can
Welch.
hear the thunderous applause for
the Wildcat fans.
For Jason Welch of Northwestern. I mean, there have been good applause for the other, but the local fans here, which are a lot of them, have really appreciated it. It was a good match.
Yeah, Napoli had a good tournament, runner-up. He was the number 3 seed, so nothing to be ashamed of.
And I don't think you could say that Napoli wrestled poorly. He just couldn't figure out Jason Welch, and a lot of wrestlers can't.
Yeah, he's unorthodox. It makes it tough. He really does. So.
Well, the Ken Kraft Midlands Championships continue as we head to 165 pounds. Again, we are at Welsh Ryan Arena. They're going to start doing some of the trophy presentations, some of the awards presentations, and right now they're going to be giving out some flowers to the lovely ladies in attendance here tonight, including Ken's beautiful wife. That's Ken Kraft's beautiful wife. His 2 daughters and his son-in-law will be approaching center mat, and rightfully so. We'll throw up the microphone right now and get a little bit of what Sandy Stevens is saying in the background.
To the Wilkes-Barre Open in Pennsylvania, when Ken Kraft had the idea to stage a collegiate wrestling tournament in the Midwest. The first tournament, then known as the West Suburban YMCA Open, was in 1963. And 50 years later, we're proud to celebrate the golden anniversary of the Midlands Championships. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for the founder of the Midlands Championships, Ken Kraft.
I have known Ken Kraft since I was 12 years old. He's one of the finest persons I've ever met in my life.
Ken is joined by his wife Marjo, his daughter Jill Kraft, daughter Sherry Kelly, and son-in-law Pat Kelly.
A real special time here at the 50th annual Ken Kraft Midlands.
How can you not be emotional about something?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean, that's
real special.
That's everything that the sport's, that's what the sport is to me.
Yeah, it is, Scott. It's all a lot of heart there, and being able to have the honor and privilege of talking to Ken Kraft on Takedown Wrestling Radio as well, and media.
Over the years, you bet.
Over the years, and just hearing the story and how he came up with the idea, and you never know which ideas are dead ends and which aren't, but this sure wasn't. This was a real successful idea by Ken Kraft, and good job by him for picking up the torch and running with it.
Yeah.
That's right.
And as I mentioned, I've known him since I was 12 years old. He's a great guy, and he
still takes your phone calls, which we find rather amazing.
Right, he doesn't put me on hold, and I have to say that Ken Kraft, guys like Jack Lee, some of the others who are involved in this, and the Midlands tournament itself are a major portion of my life, and I just don't.
They are.
I don't know what I'd do without it. I come back here and see people I know. I watch these championships, which are absolutely wonderful, and it's hard to express how, if I had to list the top 4 things in my life, besides my family and things of that sort, the events, the Midlands would certainly be right up number 1 or number 2.
We were hoping Takedown would come in there number 2 or 3, but gosh, you put it wherever you need.
Your faith?
Well, Steve comes in number 2.
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. Wow. Just for that, I'm going to put my glasses back on.
Yeah. What are we seeing out there? We've got Gerard Garnett of Virginia Tech receiving the award for winning the 125-pound weight class.
Tied it up? Is that right? Are we tied still?
I'll get you a team score if you guys want one. I'll get you an updated
Scott Casber.
Team score if you're ready.
I am ready, and I think it's pretty close to being tied. We do have Virginia Tech wrestler going for 3rd in this 165. He'll be wrestling Mr. Dangerous, Steve Monk.
Here we go.
I believe.
If
North
you're ready.
Dakota State and Virginia Tech.
First and second place has not changed. Illinois and Virginia Tech all tied up with 96.5. Neither have a wrestler in the championship round. Illinois has 3 in the consies. Virginia Tech with only 1. So right now, Virginia Tech's potential look at the national champion, or excuse me, the Midlands Championship may be slight indeed. Illinois, if they can win 1 or 2, may come
might have to win 2 or 3, I believe.
Yeah, and we also have to see what places they're going for. The one wrestler from Virginia Tech, Peter Yates, is going for 3rd place
against Monk.
Against Monk, which will be very tough.
Right.
And that, but he may get more more points for the 3rd place finish than if an Illinois wrestler gets a 5th place.
All right, remember I told you just a little bit ago, I said Lehigh had 3 in the championships, and they had the best opportunity to leapfrog some teams up to a decent finish of perhaps 2nd or 3rd. Well, Lehigh just dropped 1 there. That leaves 2. They have no in the consies, just the 2 in the championship round. They sit in 5th currently with 74 points. Who's behind them? Central Michigan with 72.5, and they have Central Michigan 1 in the championship round. Michigan is in 7th with 2 in the consies. Northwestern with 2 in the consies as well. Now, 4th place has Oregon State. Oregon State right now with 76.5 points. They've got 1 in the championship round,
Hankey at heavyweight
in the consie.
Chad Hankey at heavyweight. That's Oklahoma has Bubby Graham coming up right now at 165. He gets the honors of taking on Bedzad Abdurrahmanov.
Yeah, Bubby Graham is a big-time fan favorite. They love him down there in Oklahoma. He's a huge, huge star, is Bubby Graham.
He is, as he salutes the Takedown
I think he's more pointing at you, Steve.
He's giving
I'm not getting in the way of any bullets from the Bubby Graham camp.
No, I know better.
Well, actually, I think he was pointing here because he was impressed that you 2 guys were sitting here with me.
Well,
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that may be
one of the founders as far as wrestling. The very first match that ever wrestled at the Midlands, Greg Zafros.
And we want to recognize our friends at themat.com and themat.tv. Meredith Wilson, thank you. Chris Moen, all the good folks there. Gary Abbott, Craig Sesker, everybody at themat.com and themat.tv. Thank you so much for playing host again to another one of our broadcasts. This one coming to you live from Evanston, Illinois, as we are live at 8:15 Central Time. They're getting ready after this round of awards, fellas. They're getting ready for another round of wrestling action. This portion of our program brought to you by Defense Soap. Fight MRSA, fight staph, fight impetigo, and all mat-borne diseases with Defense Soap. Also by Wrestlite. When you want to wrestle with safety in mind, keep the world's best and largest mat manufacturer in mind. It's Wrestlite mats. Also by iGrappler. View it on iTunes. It's an app you don't want to go without. iGrappler for $4 a year. You can have a lot of fun with Nick Simmons' iGrappler. Also by Jim Zaleski's Wrestling Camps. Oregon State is on the move, as always, here and around the country. Jim Zaleski Wrestling Camps. Also by Jim Heffernan's Illinois Wrestling Camps. Summer camps start in June for Jim Heffernan's Illinois Wrestling Camps, the hosts of this year's Big Ten Championships. And by Mark Cody's Sooner Wrestling Camps. When Jack Space left, he didn't leave the cupboard bare. He left everything on the table, and Mark Cody has been setting it up and knocking him down. As a matter of fact, he's got a wrestler coming up here, guys.
Yes, he does. And Ridex Termite Pest Control, thanks for your sponsorship, or helping out anyway.
Amen and amen to that.
With the Takedown Wrestling, we love doing this. It's so fun, and it's great. And we got Bubby Graham coming up against Bedzad Apter Rachmanov.
By the way, we want to give a big congratulations to Bloomsburg, who won the Brute Invitational. How about Bloomsburg stepping up?
Good job by them.
Power. Bloomsburg Huskies.
We should be noting that we're going to the 165-pound class next, and that is the class where Peter Yates of Virginia Tech is wrestling also. So this is the last wrestler for Virginia Tech.
He need these points. He gets the privilege of taking on the Cradle King,
right?
Steve Monk.
Steve
so
Monk. That should be a
going to be some ankle picking against some cradling, possibly. Right. So we'll find out maybe which one's better. You want a cradle or you want ankle pick?
That's up to you, Steve.
They're both got their, everybody's got their forte of what they like to use, don't they? So
we should say in the awards of the championship medals and brackets and that they have sponsors for each weight. Right now, Mark Massery, NCAA champion for Northwestern in 1973, I believe it was, is presenting it. Previously, we had Tadaki Hata, basically one of the best wrestlers in the world during his time. He and his brother both probably accomplished more than anybody else.
Here along the sidelines and along over in the awards area helping present the awards, there's some guys that have been here. You see them each and every year, Greg Zafros. Maybe you could share with us some of those that have been in the support staff, an immediate group around Ken Kraft.
Well, one of the guys, that I'll pull him out right out, he's basically the right-hand man of Ken Kraft, happens to be a guy, wonderful guy by the name of Jack Lease, who happened to be my coach in high school, and the guy who introduced me at the age of 12 to Ken Kraft. And Jack has worked hard. He's done everything from announcing to organizing things to setting things up, and he's been doing it for almost the whole time that this was going on. He's in the Hall of Fame for both football and wrestling in the state of Illinois, and a really great guy. Mark Massery, who just gave out these last awards, has done a phenomenal job helping wrestling at Northwestern University and with this tournament. He was the voice of Northwestern Wrestling for their radio and television broadcast a few years ago, and he's helped out well, but there are just all kinds of people involved. It's like a duck going smoothly across the water. You see the duck going across there, but underneath the water, those feet are pedaling like crazy, and there are just a bunch of people doing things, and
it makes us so special, this tournament.
One of my other high school coaches right now, Sam Samorian, is giving out the awards for this weight class. This is this is Nick Bracetta at 149 pounds. And Sam Samorian is in the Illinois Hall of Fame for wrestling as an official.
Yeah.
And he was my high school gym teacher, I have to say that.
Great football coach. He's coached almost everything, but he's always been one that has been there for the kids.
Right.
That's important. Yeah. Kids need role models, and kids need positive role models. Yeah. He's definitely been a good positive role model.
By the way, thanks to our hosts here, the wonderful staff at Northwestern University, the athletic directors. They have such a big heart in making sure we get taken care of. Last night, several of the members of the athletic director's staff were at our hotel turning down the beds, and I just thought that was such
Put a mint on the pillow. That was special.
It was, was that a mint?
Yeah, I thought it was. It was melded. My heat was set too high, so it kind of melded.
This is Phil, by the way, folks. I don't know if you could tell. We're getting ready to start the next bout. Again, I'm serious, though, and thanking the folks here at the Midlands and at Northwestern. We couldn't do it without them. Certainly, we want to do it with them. All right, coming up next at 165 pounds. Let's introduce him and give him a little bit of history on how we got here.
Bedzad Abdurrahmanov. He had a 12-5 win, 12-5 win, 8-3 victory, 5-3 victory. And he's in the finals, and he's the #1 seed. He's going to be wrestling the #3 seed, Bubby Graham from Oklahoma. And Bubby Graham has had a 11-2 win, a sudden victory win over Santiago, and then a 9-2 win, and a big win over Peter Yates, 7-2. He beat Yates of Virginia Tech, the #2 seed. So it's Graham and Abdurahmanov, and we got some interest for third too, because Yates is wrestling for the #3 team, and then he's wrestling also the guy that I said was the sleeper,
right?
The dark horse at 165.
You said that before the wrestling even started.
Yep.
Coach Kevin Dresser is pacing back and forth. Now he is sitting down there. We're getting ready, and actually we started the 5th place bout. That one is the Lewandowski of the University at Buffalo, and Conrad Poltz of the University of Illinois over here. So, you know, this is a possible point getter at either end, either Virginia Tech at one end and or Illinois at the other end.
University at Buffalo?
The University at Buffalo.
Yeah, it's at Buffalo now, yep.
All right, the main event has not started. We're waiting
before.
for a television start here. Other two mats have started, but the main event, first, second, will not start until television gives them the clearance, and that, of course, we'll get it from our floor director. He's standing up. He's giving him the sign. He said, let's do this thing. Here we go.
And from the point of view of the team scores, the two side matches are the important ones.
Yeah, they really are for the team race, because neither one of them could get one to the finals. And so Bedzad Abdurahmanov wrestling for his club, and he's wrestling Bubby Graham. So Bubby Graham for Oklahoma Sooners.
And Peter Yates for Virginia Tech just gets a takedown on Monk. On Stephen Monk of, and that's NDSU, right?
Big dive there by Graham on Bedzad. Abdurahmanov's thinking he's going to his brother there, Moose Tafar. Abdurahmanov wrestled back in the day for American.
I want to thank our sponsors at Cradle Gear, by the way, doing a great job. You see so many of the athletes here wearing Cradle Gear. Cradle Gear has been sponsoring Olympic athletes, giving them 50% of all sales, 50% of all sales to help our Olympic-level athletes make it to the next level and stay at the next level. And look at the guys that he's sponsoring. My goodness. John Reeder, the Paulsons.
Sitting over there.
Yeah,
he's a Midlands finalist. Yeah, Coleman Scott.
Tremendous athlete.
Won a silver medal in the Olympics for us.
Cradle Gear.
Okay. No score yet on the match, on the 5th place match, and that's Conrad Poltz of Illinois, and he's going against for Lewandowski of the University at Buffalo. That's Morse Lewandowski, if I'm pronouncing that right. No score yet. They have 1:13 to go in the first period. Over on the far side, we still have that 2-0 lead for Peter Yates. We really can't see the match right now.
It's important for Virginia Tech Hokies.
That's right.
So he wrestles Monk from North Dakota. He's trying to pick up some back points here, but referee says that's not the case. So
we've got an end to this match early. Oklahoma picks up the victory, and we're not sure where the
Bedzad Abdurahmanov got dinged. He got dinged pretty hard, and Lucifar is talking to his brother, and so that's a big win for Oklahoma. So more points there for the Sooners. They're fighting for 3rd, 4th place, so that's huge for. That is very big for Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we're going to try to find out what happened out there.
Big 10. See if he's got a second here. So that's big. So Coach Mark Cody joining us. Thank you, Coach Mark Cody. Talk to us a little bit about what just happened with Bedzad Abdurahmanov.
You know, I don't know if it was ribs or I don't know if he got dinged in the head. I was kind of wondering, both. I know his ultimate goal is freestyle, to do well in freestyle. I don't know if that's where he's thinking right now. I better make sure that I don't risk anything here, because I know he's got some tournaments coming up. But looked like he took a good ding somewhere, but I just couldn't figure it out whether it was ribs or his head. But
interesting, little bit of twist there. You being his brother's former coach,
Lucifar
Abdurahmanov,
and still like part of the family. It's funny, we gave each other a look before the match, kind of an intense look and a wink and a smile.
But, going back when you used to sit in his corner.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's so intense. I said, "Gee, should I smile or is he going to be offended by that?" But
some of my favorite matches with Moose, it was his nickname, was him and Johnny Hendricks. Did they have some battles back in the day.
Yeah,
I could watch him and Johnny Hendricks wrestle all day long.
I know.
But congratulations to Graham. Bubby Graham wins and pick up some more points for the Oklahoma Sooners.
Hey, that's the big thing. It's just, same thing as getting a pin. So that's a lot of points, and we'd like to take a trophy home.
So that's some extra bonus points for Mark Cody and company. Good job, Coach.
Hey, you bet. We did a big climb today, so that's exciting.
Good job for Oklahoma Sooners. Thank you so much, Coach Mark Cody. Good job as always.
Thanks a lot. Okay, before we start in with the next championship bout, let's update you on the side bouts here, because both Peter Yates of Virginia Tech and Conrad Poltz of Illinois at the other end are leading in their matches. Peter Yates has a 4-0 lead at the end of the first period. Conrad Poltz has a 1-0 lead from an escape in the second period.
So that's huge for Virginia Tech down there against Steve Monk of North Dakota State. So
well, Yates has to win it because he's the only one left for Virginia Tech, but there are 2 or 3 left.
He needs to get out. Monk, this is where Monk's good. He's good on top. This is where he likes to cradle. So Yates, if he can get out, that's a feather in his cap. So, okay, 174 pounds. We'll get this set for you, and they're off and running. We got Nate Brown against Robert Kokish. Kokish for Nebraska, who I say could be in the running for OW possibly. He's had a fall in 5:51, a major decision 13-1. Kokish has had another fall, 2:52, a tech fall at 15-0 in 7 minutes, and then a 10-2 win against the returning Lee Munster champion for Kokish, but I believe he actually trails already. So Nate Brown going for his win, possibly the number 9 seed for Lehigh is Nate Brown. So he's having a great win. His big match, of course, was a 3-2 win over Jordan Blanton, the number 1 seed for the Fighting Illini, Illinois. And he draws blood first. He's up 2-0 with 2:22 left in the first period. And he's riding Kokish tough. Half Nelson in there. Boy, he's got that half Nelson buried in there as Nate Brown. He has really impressed Greg and I through the tournament, and trying to turn Kokish is Brown for Lehigh. Riding tough. Man, he is really cranking that power half Nelson on Kokish.
Over on mat number 3, Monk is on top in the second period. And
he's tough on top.
He is, and he's the pinner that you said he was, and he's trying to crank Peter Yates over, and he may do that. He's got him on his side right now.
Be to Yates' benefit if he can get out from underneath Monk, because Monk is tough on top. He rides, once he gets a hold of you, boy, he's like a rat on a Cheeto.
Okay, now the Conrad Poltz match is now tied up, so it's tied over there for Illinois, but Peter Yates still has a 4-0 lead, but with Monk on top, it's pretty dangerous. He is a pinner.
Escape on for Kokish, 2-1, 1:21 to go. For Nebraska, gets an escape, and now he's in a position where he takes the lead. 2-point takedown. It's now 3-2 in favor of the Nebraska Cornhusker.
Real quick, I'll interrupt. Oklahoma, with that victory, moves into third place, 85 points. They only have 1 wrestler left in the consolation round. But you know what? What a job they did. 85 points for Oklahoma so far with 1 to go.
So they've jumped into third place, like you say, Scott, and the other 2 teams tied.
Yeah.
Now Peter Yates was ridden for the whole second period here, but he didn't get any back points against him or anything, so they're going into the third period. They're taking the standing position.
And Yates has gotten the takedown, so Kokish still leads in the championship match, 3-2, 34 seconds ago. We got a fresh start. Brown will start down. Kokish from Nebraska on top. Brown wrestling. He wears the brown for Lehigh. So the only way I guess he could top that is if he wrestled for Brown, the college Brown. But instead he's wrestling for Mr. Pat Santoro and the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. 3-2, 22 seconds to go in the first period.
Conrad Poltz just got a 2-point takedown.
Okay.
He now takes a 3-1 lead in the third period with 12 seconds to go, so it looks like he may win that one.
He had a tough loss to Yates, defeated Conrad Poltz in the last round. Yates is almost looking like he's got Monk down possibly.
And that is the end of that match for 5th place, and the Illinois winner, the Illinois wrestler is the winner.
It's big.
Conrad Poltz, and let's see how many points he's going to get.
We'll keep track. Yates needs to keep winning down there, and we got Brown starting down against Kokish.
Brown was starting down, right?
Brown starts down, and if he wins, there'll be no frown. in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So
as the you know, the X's and O's of the game.
It's going to be good. On top is Kokesh Brown. Good reaction right off the whistle there. Tried to stand up, ended up coming down to his hips and turned into Kokesh from Nebraska. Nebraska returns Brown. Tight waist ride here, going back and forth, going from the right to the left side is Kokesh. Robert Kokesh from the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Trying to chop the arm of Brown and break Brown down. Brown is up onto a stance. So right now, 1:26 to go in the second period. Kokesh, 37 seconds of riding time.
Okay, 10 seconds to go over on mat number 3. Peter Yates still with that 4-point lead.
Boy, it could be a big win for the Virginia Tech Hokies. They need every point, and this is their last chance, I believe.
3, 2, 1, and Peter Yates just wins it. He actually got a takedown right at the whistle. I don't think they're going to give it at this point because he doesn't need it.
4-0, Yates wins.
But a win for Peter Yates. He was in the finals last year. He made it to third place this year. Not much of a step down, I have to say. And a great job, and a few extra team points now for Virginia Tech.
And then a championship match, Brown gets 2 more, so now he leads Kokesh 4-3, 53 seconds to go in the second period, so now the Mountain Hawk is ahead. And getting a reversal, I believe, is Kokesh. 2 more points for Robert Kokesh. He now leads 5-4.
So Virginia Tech did just win in the bout over here. So it effectively ties it up, 97.5 points each, if we are right in our math. Now, Illinois has 2 more in the consies, and that could be slim point margins indeed. We talked about a 1 or 2 point differential between the first and second place team.
And Yates won for third instead of fifth, so he may have picked up maybe a little bit more. So I think Illinois, if they lose the other 2, might get more points for third versus fifth. We'll see. The standings will be coming here shortly, but it's 5-4 now. The number 2 seed, Robert Kokesh, leads the number 9 seed for Lehigh. Nate Brown wrestling for the Mountain Hawks. Pat Santoro up on his feet. Mark Manning up on his feet here for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Along his side is Brian Snyder, one of the best tripod wrestlers there ever was. Back in the day was Brian Snyder, just a real fun, explosive wrestler to watch. Nate Brown starts on top. We get a fresh start. Third period riding time, 1:07 in favor of Lehigh. And right at the 1 minute mark, Kokesh gets out and gets a reversal. So now Kokesh leads, and 7-4. 3-point lead. Picking up some more riding time is Robert Kokesh. Okay, he's over the 1 minute mark. Greg Zafros, what do you see on mat number 5?
Okay, Greg Zafros.
Yeah, we've got Sheptock of Maryland over there going against Avery of Edinburgh. Avery is unseeded, and with the Maryland wrestler going there, he now has a 2-0 lead with 1:30 to go in the first period. And we have the Maryland Screamer, Robin Ficker, over there, and we can hear him from here.
Just colorful. Looks like he's got his pajamas on.
Yes. And he's jumping up and down and screaming himself. He's a sight to see.
He's going to need his chiropractor when it's done, I believe.
Jimmy Sheptock doing a great job out here. We have a timeout. We've got a blood timeout on Avery from Edinburgh.
And an Illinois wrestler down here. Is that Mario Gonzalez, possibly? Down there, mat number...
Is that Blanton?
Or Jordan Blanton.
That's probably
Jordan Blanton, the number 1 seed, who was defeated by Nate Brown of Lehigh in that match in the championship. 40 seconds to go. Kokesh leads. 2 minutes and 5 seconds of riding time. 3-point lead for the Nebraska Cornhusker.
We're at 174 pounds, guys.
We are. Straight across, 174 pounds, Scott.
3 matches to go, 84, 97, and heavyweights.
Actually, that match with Avery and Sheptock is at 184, so we are a little bit up on that one.
Jumping up one. And Kokesh doing a real good job with his riding. A lot of riding time, 2:35 of riding time so far. Robert Kokesh looks like Nebraska's going to get a Midlands champ, and they did bring a full team. Brian Snyder over there with Mark Manning and company, and Tony Ersland said they left some of their ranked wrestlers back in Lincoln, getting them ready for the big duel push here, and Robert Kokesh wins the Midlands there for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, 8-4, Scott.
Huge victory for Nebraska. They are in no danger of winning this thing, of course. But you know what? That's a big victory and a moral victory at that for a very young Big Ten squad at Nebraska.
Okay, the score is now 2-1 over on mat 5, and Sheptock of Maryland is still in the lead on that. There's 19 seconds to go in the first period. Over on the other side, we have 1 point. Looks like it's for the Buffalo wrestler.
Yes, John Martin Cannon, the man with 3 names.
Right.
You know you're good. You know you're more important when you have 3 names. John Martin Cannon.
And he's
like John Mark Bentley.
Right. Yeah, right.
John
we
Martin
brought him up a little bit ago.
Did. So. Down at Appalachian State, was it, or down
App
somewhere
State,
in North?
You bet.
Yeah.
And Illinois had a 3-namer just not too many years ago.
That's true.
For the Fighting Illini, Jim Heffernan will be giving that to us soon.
Okay, and they are in the second period over there on that match with the Illinois wrestler and the Buffalo wrestler, John Martin. Let's just say John Martin. I presume got that 1 point from taking the down position and getting an
escape. So they go back to the middle, Blanton and Cannon. Cannon wrestling for the University at Buffalo.
Okay. And there's 2 more points for Cannon, and he's now got a
big.
Let's see what we've got. It should be a 3-0 lead.
Got
the scoreboard
a lot of traffic.
And he is really working on Jordan Blanton.
Blanton did a Granby, and Cannon did a good job of just releasing him and then just picking up where he left off. And no escape there by Blanton. And a lot of standing traffic around the scoreboard down there, so we really can't see what's going on.
Jordan Blanton in himself is pretty stocky, but standing next to Cannon, I'll tell you, Cannon is about 2 or 3 inches shorter than him and is much wider. Now we get an escape there by Jordan Blanton, so that should make it 3-1, although we can't see the scoreboard right now. It's still 2-1 over on mat 5 with the Maryland wrestler leading on that one. That's Jimmy Sheptock.
Sheptock looking good here.
Yeah.
And wrestling tough.
Yep. We've seen him a couple times this year. He really is an outstanding wrestler. And the University of Maryland will be going over to the Big Ten.
What's that?
Where's their
Absolutely. Maryland and Rutgers will be both going to the Big Ten.
Big Ten coming up.
Won't be immediately, but within the next year and a half, you'll see the evolution of college sports as the Big Ten truly takes hold. They continue to evolve, continue to add teams, and they're not done yet, fellas, and neither is the MAC. The MAC is going to be moving as well.
A lot of them really getting.
Well, the MAC just picked up Missouri. They just picked up Old Dominion.
And then Northern Iowa's coming aboard.
Northern Iowa as
Panthers.
well. Yeah, so you know you're seeing some strategies play out, and it's a good thing too because college wrestling is benefiting from a lot of these moves. Today's broadcast on themat.com being brought to you in part by our friends at Brute. Look for Brute when trying to make a decision on what kind of singlets to buy. Brute's been around for a long time. Good quality, and they stand behind what they make. Nobody has a faster turnaround when you need those singlets than Brute.
We know Blanton has 2 points, and just getting a lot of traffic here. So
I think it's going to be 3-2, but we have to confirm that. We will as soon as a couple people get out of the way.
Well, they're doing an interview down there, and once that's over, I'm sure we'll be able to.
Yeah, former Olympian, looks like is that
stall warning against John Martin Cannon.
Yep. Larry Christoph.
Is that Larry?
Oh, your old friend that you.
Yeah, bunked down with him at the Nationals at Cornell.
He let you sleep on the floor.
He did.
Hope it was carpet.
No, it was tile. It was
tile. It was a heated tile.
It was a dorm room.
Sure, it was heated.
Okay, Jimmy Sheptock still ahead. He's got the 3-1 lead at this point. They're starting the third period. He's been in command from the beginning. Over on the far side, John Martin Loader. We got a stalling warning go. We're getting 1 point. That probably ties it up. I don't know what the riding time is. We can't see it right now because they're doing an interview right in front of the scoreboard.
3-3.
No riding time. It's tied 3-3.
Tied 3-3. So
and that was
what
tied
you see is what you get.
Yeah, tied on a stalling point.
Wrestling for the championship at 104 representing Robert Hamlin. And his opponent in the green, the number 2 seed.
Okay, for the championship match, we got a good one coming up. We got the Vermonster, Robert Hamlin against Ben Bennett. They have met before and both been in the finals, and Bennett has been here for quite some time. And wrestling for the Chippewas of Central Michigan.
That Chippewa.
Okay, we're in.
Hamlin doing good. What do you got down there for Illinois? Needs the team points.
Sudden victory. They're going into overtime on that stalling point. So 1 minute to go, and who's ever going to get it, who gets that first point is going to win it.
Well, we're totally neutral, obviously, but I got to believe the hardcore VTech people's got to be pulling for John Martin Cannon.
Right.
So against Blanton. Blanton's in on a shot, though.
And there it is.
2 points. There it is. So Illinois.
Jordan Blanton gets those 2 points.
Might have made the difference in the team race.
Right, and they didn't stop it immediately because he actually put him down right on his back. Whoa, what a turnaround. He was down 3-1, came back and won it in overtime.
This is a rematch of last year's Midlands final.
They're make them continue to wrestle. Anyway, down here in the finals between Robert Hamlin of Lehigh and Ben Bennett for the Central Michigan Chippewas. Both wrestlers have taken 2 shots apiece. Nobody finished them, so we're all tied up. 0-0 is the score. Down here at 184 pounds. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go in the first period. And we got a good wrestling match going on here. Both these wrestlers from Bennett from Michigan, wrestling for Central Michigan, and out of the state of Vermont is Robert Hamlin. Some call him the Vermonster, so I believe that locks up the team race for Illinois. They have probably, I think they've won it, so. And Bennett in there on the leg of Robert Hamlin, right there. And he's trying to stack the Chippewa up as Bennett, but Bennett doing a good job on those leg attacks.
Okay, and over on mat 5, we've got a win for Jimmy Sheptock of the University of Maryland. It was 3-2, and Sheptock had a stalling point already against him, so it was close at the end. But we're coming up with Mario Gonzalez, the last of the Illinois wrestlers here, but it looks like Illinois has already won it.
I think we've been informed that that George Blanton win possibly was the kind of the final nail in the coffin there. So they have solidified the team championship for down there at Champaign-Urbana. Scott, Jeff Murphy, myself, Scott Casber will be heading down there for the Big Ten championships. Not too far from now in Champaign-Urbana. Along Interstate 74, I believe it is, we'll be taken in there. And right now, we're still scoreless with 9 seconds to go in the first period between Robert Hamlin of Lehigh and Ben Bennett of Central Michigan. Bennett's been on Hamlin's leg twice, but was unable to score the takedown, so choice is going to go to Hamlin. He defers, and Bennett takes down immediately. Ben Bennett, Robert Hamlin. Hamlin was the first All-American to wrestle out of the state of Vermont, making it his high school wrestling back in the day for the great state of Vermont.
Ben Bennett is such a typical wrestler for the Chippewas. Long-legged, looks longer than he is actual tall, but it's about 6 foot tall, maybe a little bit over, but a very strong athlete.
Tom Borelli goes after those tall athletes.
He does. He's trademarked with these kids, and I'll tell you what, they respond well. You got Jason Nates up there, assistant coach for Central Michigan now. Jason is back. Jason
Borelli? No.
Starts with an M. Anyway, was down at Missouri for a while. Just drawing a blank here. Sorry, guys.
You know who else been tall from? Scotty Sintas, and then you think of Win Mahalik back in the day, how tall he was.
Absolutely.
And so Tom Borelli, I don't know if it's intentional or not. His heavyweights haven't been terribly tall. 1 minute, 7 seconds to go. Greg Zafros, what do you see?
Over on mat number 5, we've got Mario Gonzalez for Illinois. We're not quite sure yet whether they're going to need his point or not, but let's. I'm sure they don't want to take any chances on that. He's wrestling Kevin Beasley of Old Dominion University, and right now Gonzalez got the takedown. He's leading by a score of 2-0.
All right, updated team scores.
Up by a point. Now, if he would get an unsportsmanlike conduct, can you get points subtracted?
Sure, you get a point taken off.
If you do something that is unsportsmanlike. So,
all right, so Illinois just wins in overtime. That clinches it. They are the victors here at the 50th edition of the Midlands Championship. There was some question coming into it. Who would do it? Illinois has done it right now, leading.
Unless there's that unsportsmanlike conduct.
Leading by 90, with 98.5 points is Illinois. Virginia Tech in second with 97.5.
Doesn't look like there'll be any unsportsmanlike conduct here because Mario doing good job.
Right, the score is only 2-0, but Gonzalez has dominated in it so far. He got that takedown right away.
Tough.
He's been riding tough.
So Twente from Northwestern and I were conferring, and I believe his math is just as correct as mine is, and it looks like even right now, Illinois has clinched it with 184 pounds wrestling and 97 a heavyweight to go.
Bennett starts on top, and he leads 1-0. Can Hamlin get out, get the escape, and tie it? He's working on it right now for the Lehigh Mountain Hawks.
Greg Zafros, you've got to be somewhat elated about this because early predictions, you saw what we saw, but you were pretty vociferous about it and in voicing your opinion about whether or not Illinois would do as well as they've done, given the condition of their heavyweight.
Right. Well, each team, as we said, Illinois and Virginia Tech had a handicap in here.
That's right.
The heavyweight for Illinois was injured and not able to compete. He was
Mr. Walker.
Patrick Walker. He only had one loss on the year. I'm not sure the level of competition, but if you win them all except one, you got to be pretty good.
That's right.
And for Virginia Tech, the defending Midlands champion, Devin Carter, is redshirting this year and wrestled unattached. So both teams had a handicap on that. I have to give credit to Jim Heffernan and the Illini doing a great job, and actually to both teams.
Big ride here. Ryan Loader, by the way, is on his back for Northern Iowa right now. Big ride put on here by Ben Bennett, who leads 1-0. So Hamlin needs out. He's got a minute to get out. Otherwise, Ben Bennett could be picking up some points possibly for Central Michigan. And Lehigh in the top 4 or 5. He needs to get some points here. Mr. Hamlin does, the Vermonster, for the Mountain Hawks. And Loader looks like he's all wrapped up here by Travis Rutt, wrestling unattached for the Oklahoma Sooners. So this could be a big win here for Travis Rutt, possibly.
These wrestlers behind me from Allendale are just all kinds of noisy.
They're happy for Bennett.
They are. They love this guy.
They love Ben Bennett, who's really be a slight upset here. Bennett being the number 2 seed and Robert Hamlin being the number 1 seed. Hamlin needs to get up and out, and this could affect their seedings as far as the nationals go if they don't, Central Michigan and Lehigh don't meet down the road.
I can't hear these guys very loud. I can't hear them at all. There we go.
Hamlin's up and out. Minute and 30 seconds of riding time, though, could be the difference. So Ben Bennett doing a good job staying out of trouble. Maybe a stall warning against Bennett or not. There's a stall warning against Bennett. Oh, almost could have put it into overtime or sudden victory. Ben Bennett for Central Michigan Chippewas with 1 minute and 30 seconds of riding time. That's the difference maker. He beats the Vermonster from Lehigh, Robert Hamlin. Big win there for Ben
family
Bennett.
up here celebrating up behind us, and the kids from Allendale are supporting them as well. How about that?
Big win there for Bennett and the Chippewas over Robert Hamlin, the Vermonster. So
let's bring you up to date with our other side matches. So the match with Mario Gonzalez now and Beasley of ODU is tied at 2-2 in the second period with 1 minute to go. Over on the far side, we have to see, we've got a timeout over there, an injury timeout, and I don't know what the problem is.
Loader is trailing 7-2 against Travis Rutt. Wrestling unattached.
Well, he's lucky he hasn't pinned. I mean, he was down so tight. How he got out of it, I don't know.
It's amazing. So, your good friend Zeb Miller going to be in the corner of none other than Dustin Kilgore.
By the way, you're going to be able to watch Zeb doing some of the post-match interviews of the champions here tonight. He's working with one of our producers, and Chad Chris, and you'll be able to watch these next week on the Takedown show. So have some fun with that. But Zeb Miller's work provided by Go GoHioCast.com. Again, that's GoHioCast.com. Of course, what an honor it is for him to sit in the corner of this young man who,
one of his good personal friends,
rents a room from him.
He does.
Yes,
Dustin
he does.
Kilgore. That's how Zeb had some time. We got to talk to him and Sarah and go out to eat with them. And Zeb can attack a cheeseburger, can he?
Yeah, Dustin Kilgore is a world beater.
He is. He's tough. He's rugged. Lived up in Alaska for a while. Lived up off of the land and wrestled some grizzly bears down and chopped down some trees.
Absolutely huge.
Okay, now this one's going to be actually kind of an interesting thing. Dustin Kilgore has all the accolades here. He is the #1 ranked wrestler in the country. He is a defending national champion. But Matt Wilps of Pittsburgh wrestled in that All-Star meet earlier in the year, and really he ended up pinning Quentin Wright of Penn State, a much bigger wrestler than Wilps is, and he's going to have the same problem. Dustin Kilgore is not necessarily taller, but he is thick as can be.
Both these wrestlers are real physical.
Very physical.
Okay, and we've just started the match.
Welps beat Gatson, Kyvan Gatson, uppercomer, with about 5 seconds to go on that takedown, and he turned me into a believer real quick.
I will bring this up that Pittsburgh has had an incredible season, incredible year so far, and it's been a continuation of a 5-year build, and it looks to continue for Randy Stottlemyre and Coach Jason Peters.
And I talked with Randy Stottlemyre before the session. We had a nice conversation. He was saying that one of the differences now, he's been there for a long time as a wrestler and a coach, 40-some years or something like that. But the university now has decided to really back the program, and they are making some accommodations for Pitt. And I think that, and he credits that along with his, what he considers fantastic assistant coaches for the recent success of that Pittsburgh team.
Rutt defeats Ryan Loader, Northern Iowa, 7-5. So Travis Rutt takes 3rd place.
But it's not just on the competitive mat, guys. It's also in that recruiting. And Jason Peters and company, those guys that work for Stottlemyre, they're out there beating the streets, man, and these kids are responding.
1 minute, 50 seconds ago. We're scoreless here between Welps and Kilgore. Returning national champ, took a Olympic red shirt last year. Dustin Kilgore did, and before his big win as he defeated pinned Clayton Foster, who's leading by 7 points. Took Foster to his mat and pinned him.
Right. And both wrestlers, they're really hulking wrestlers out there physically in that, but they're both extremely fast, and they both have extremely good balance.
I would say Welps gives up a lot of strength.
Just want to make sure everybody knows you said fast.
Fast?
Fast.
F-A-S-T.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yep. No heavyweight connotations here.
Did I use my Greek accent?
No, I just want to make
sure the S wasn't dropped.
They are hand-fighting something fierce here, guys. No score.
Okay, and Mario Gonzalez just wins that match over there.
More points for Illinois.
Absolutely seals it for University of Illinois. Congratulations to the University of Illinois for their win and for Virginia Tech for a fine showing for 2nd place.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, here's a shot in by Kilgore, but a nice counter by Wilps. And at that All-Star meet, Wilps showed he can wrestle with anybody, but I'll tell you, Dustin Kilgore is not necessarily anybody.
He took an Olympic redshirt year last year only to improve his skills on the freestyle mats, traveling around the world for many different competitions, and he's got a very, very bright future on the international scene for Team USA.
They go out of bounds. They're back to the center now. I'd have to say that Kilgore has been the aggressor. He now has a single leg on there. He's lifting it up. Let's see if he can knock out the far leg. And of course, with that strength, nice job by Wilps to get out of it. Just pressured that knee down that Wilps is holding.
Welps is probably one of the few wrestlers that probably doesn't give up a lot of strength to Kilgore necessarily, as far as brute power. So
right.
I think there's a combination of strength, overall brute power, vascularity. You got to remember, a lot of that goes into how long you can last. How long will you be strong? There's a lot of solid beef on both these guys.
Kilgore does a good job in his mental preparation, too. He's real aggressive, and he kind of wrestles with a chip on his shoulder. He's got a real tough man mentality where he just likes to go after people and be very aggressive. He's great on the attack.
Okay, that's the end of the first period, and we've got no score.
Kilgore gets the choice. He's going to defer. So Welps takes down immediately, facing the wrong direction. And meanwhile, Meeks leads Gatson down there, I believe, 2-0. So He got the takedown, Meeks did. He's got some big pins, by the way, this Meeks. He's pinned some opponents here just recently. And so we got an escape there by Pitt. So Dustin Kilgore trails, probably for the first time in the tournament, yep. I'm going to guess.
Could it be the first time this season? It might be.
Yes.
But they're going at it. We're 1-0 in the second period in that, but they've expended a lot of energy out there going back and forth on each other. There's a single leg by Kilgore. He's got it, lifting it up, and then again
stepped out of it again.
Welps gets out of it by just pressuring down on that. That's the move. One of the first counters we ever learned in high school, and that was 50 years ago. And that old standard was really working.
Get that whizzer and put your foot down.
Welps is doing it, and it's working. There we get the same shot out there.
Third time.
And let's see if Welps can get out. He gets out again. He's spinning around behind. He's trying to get a cradle actually on it. He's trying to step around behind. Now Kilgore is grabbing not an ankle, he's grabbing a thigh on that, and they go back up again. What a flurry we had.
Mike Exline, the referee in charge in this one.
Big flurry there. Real impressed with Welps.
Yep.
Keeping up with Kilgore. In fact, he leads the match.
Rick
right now,
on the outside, keeping a good eye on this.
There's another shot by Kilgore. He's in deeper this time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if Welps steps down, but are they going to go out of bounds? And Welps steps all the way out of it, and they go out again. That's the third time in a row now.
He needs to go deep on him, and these are big tree trunk-like legs. There's a little bit more height there, so he's got to work a little harder. He's got to put that right into his shoulder, draw it in deep, and push.
Kilgore almost got switched off to a double there. You saw for a second last time.
Now we've got Welps going in on it, and let's see about Kilgore breaking this. Welps
25
down below.
seconds to go.
And Welps is pulling it in. He's pulling it in. Let's see if he can do that. And he's pushing over. Oh, is he going to get rolled? No, not yet. Kilgore now is on top, but there's no points yet. But Kilgore is in the advantage here, and he might be able to do a near side cradle, getting 2 points. Dustin Kilgore of Kent State University.
6 seconds to go, so he now leads 2-1.
Let's see if he can get any back points.
Welp needs to belly out.
Okay,
so just a 2-point takedown. Still just 2-1 though.
Right,
so
2-1 going into the third period. Right. Welps did a nice job of fighting him off, but in the last 10 seconds, the last 12 seconds or so, we let up on it. Nice job. Those guys rolled over 2 or 3 times before Dustin Kilgore ended up on top on that. So they're going into the third period. The leader by a score of 2-1. Dustin Kilgore is down, and let's see if Welps can hold him.
Doing the arm chop there is Welps, trying to chop the arm of the tree trunks.
The arms immediately go red on Kilgore.
Yeah. Kilgore
nice hip action there, a little hip heist action there.
Right, he pushes back into Welps and gets a reversal.
4-1 now.
We're up to what now, 7 reversals?
Well, it was a textbook reversal by Dustin Kilgore. He comes around the outside, switches over, moves over to the top with a nice float, and I'll tell you what, he deserves those 2 points because it was everything that Greg and Steve, both of you guys, were taught as young wrestlers how to reverse. Now he's going to decide whether or not he's going to hang on. He wants to get at that advantage, the riding time advantage going his way right now. 22 seconds already of riding time for Kilgore.
Katzen got the takedown, and Meeks got the escape, so it's now 4-3 down there. Gadsden leads.
They go out of bounds, and we get a leap out of bounds by Welps, and the referee gives him a 1-point escape.
That's big for Welps.
Yep.
Big. 1:04 to go in the third period. 4-2 is the score. And the lead for Dustin Kilgore. So Welps needs to finish a takedown. If he could do that, or pick up backs, or he could put this thing into sudden victory against the defending national champion. And Welps proved he can keep up with Dustin Kilgore. Nobody's been able to do that up until this point. It's just kind of been a track meet right to the finals for Dustin Kilgore.
And they're locked up, circling around. They back up now to go back to the center of the mat. Okay, they're doing a lot of hand fighting and pushing at the heads and that, grabbing the shoulders, but no shots. There's a shot in by Welps. Nice counter by Kilgore.
29 seconds.
They break again. They're going back toward the center.
Got to be a sense of urgency here for the pit wrestler, Welps.
Okay, another shot by Welps. Another half shot, and they go out of bounds with 19 seconds to go.
Wow, just 19 seconds to go, and we got a great match here for the championship.
When there's that sense of urgency, there's mistakes made or openings left.
And some guys will do a do-or-die move and get taken down themselves.
Okay, 10 seconds to go. And Welps needs the takedown to get it. He shoots the takedown, and Kilgore with his strength, he just locks him up.
We talked about, Scott.
Puts him in he's got a front and near side cradle on it, and that's the end of the match. Final score 4-2. There was no riding time.
Kilgore wins.
A nice match by both wrestlers.
Congratulations to Welps. Nobody's even kept up with Kilgore, so shows that Kilgore's not just going to run the whole table nationwide this year. Somebody can keep up with the Dustin Kilgore of Kent State. Congratulations to the Kent State national champion.
And Zeb Miller congratulates Welps on a fine match as well. A lot of nice gentlemanly behavior here and good sportsmanship. We're glad to see that. And Welps still can't believe that he lost it, but you know, he is going against just about the top wrestler in the United States. I mean, I'm not talking just in that weight class. I'm talking about all the weight classes.
Gadsden's up now 6-7. Can't see the scoreboard, but he leads 7-4 now for Gadsden of Iowa State for third place. But 56 seconds to go. Meek's in on a leg of Gadsden, so trying to close the gap here. 7-4 is Meek's. 6-5. Boy, they can't make up their mind down there. They've done all kinds of score changes on the scoreboard. 2 points for Meeks. Now it's 7-6. It was 7-4. Gadsden was up by 3. Now they said he's down by 1, and Gadsden needs to get up and out, or the Oregon State Beaver would take third place. And here's another Oregon State Beaver out here.
What did you say Gadsden was? What year is he?
Yeah, it's a redshirt freshman. Wow. Well, he actually ate up a year of eligibility. They're going to try to get with one match when he tore out his rotator cuffs. It was his first match as a freshman, so it depends if they can get a hardship medical for him. So technically on paper he's a freshman. So 7-6, he trails right now though against Meeks of Oregon State. So.
I'd give Greg Zafros a hardship medical.
Yeah, right. 2 of them. One for each injured arm, maybe.
Okay, and who would I give a mental hardship to?
You know, you got a coin.
I'm not even going to say.
Yeah, that's right. Zeb Miller here talking to us. Zeb, what do you think? Dustin Kilgore, somebody actually kept up with him, but he is the champion. So Welps did good. Dustin Kilgore did better.
I think Wilps had a great strategy going into it. You know, Wilps is a horse, man. He had a great match with Quentin Wright earlier in the year, and he ended up. It was probably the best match of the year, if you want.
Right, and he pinned him.
We caught him and pinned him there at the end, and ran him over with an inside trip. But you know, Dustin's got a motor, and he's got to keep his motor going. You know, on the single legs, he's got to go attack the heel right away, rather than try and fight a big guy like that who's got strong thighs like that. So, you know, that's something. You know, you got to attack the foot. Where a guy's weaker, you can't attack him where he's stronger. Look at that guy's thighs. That guy's got some pretty big thighs. They're both horses, though, so happy for Dustin to be able to come away with a win there. He's pretty good.
He did. You know, Dustin was in on some shots there and couldn't quite finish him. Welps planted the foot down a couple times. Went to almost a double leg there off his single once real quick. But Kilgore's tough. He's got a lot of power. He's got great lungs. He doesn't tire. And he's the man to beat. He's sitting on top. He's king of the hill, I would say.
Well, you know, you got another NCAA champion at the weight, and a guy, I think that, you know, and Quentin Wright, the thing he has on both Dustin and Matt Wilps is he can pin anyone.
He has the ability to pin.
He's a pinner.
Very dangerous.
And he's got the Jay Jagger syndrome, you know, I don't wrestle very well sometimes in the season, but when it's March, it's go time. He straps it up, and he's ready to win an NCAA title. So Dustin's got to be more ready than him. And obviously that guy's got Kel Sanderson in his quarter, but Wilps is a stud, man. Wilps is just a horse. So that was a good one. Now, heavyweight's coming out.
Got Chad Hankey against Thomasette, and Hankey doing a good job. He beat, you ready? Trice. Gerard Trice from the Central Michigan Chippewas. Thank you, Zeb Miller. You want to stick with us? You can stick with us if you wish. We appreciate you joining us if you don't mind. And you know Dustin Kilgore real good. You're just real good friends with him.
This was Chad Hankey. Chad Hankey from Oregon State was a 197-pounder career. Last year he took the Olympic red shirt. If you guys remember, he wrestled Jake Varner in the best 2 out of 3 for the 96 kilos 2011 World Team. He actually has beaten Kilgore. Kilgore's never beaten Chad Hankey.
Wow.
So that's something to know about Chad Hankey. He's an absolute stud. Thomasite, St. Paris Graham Falcon. He could be the second Falcon tonight to win a title with Bracetta at 149 winning it, his high school teammate from Virginia Tech. So something kind of interesting knowing about both of these guys. And he's a Pacific Northwest guy, talking about Chad Hankey, a guy that Coach Zaleski's really developed. And obviously you can see he's put some size on. He's not a 197-pounder anymore. And the weight cut was not conducive to him anymore. And had a big win, probably the biggest win of his career with the win. Well, second biggest win of his career. Trice, the win over Trice, but the biggest win of his career, I would say, last year was at Reno when he defeated Alan Golagayev.
He beat the Oklahoma State heavyweight, Golagayev. He beat him, and he looks good. He worked out with Clayton Lumberjack, I'm sure, lots of times.
The Jackhammer?
Yeah, Lumberjack, Jackhammer. He had a lot of trade. You could coin a lot of names on him once you watch him wrestle because Lumberjack or Clayton Jack was tough. What do you see, Greg Zafros?
Okay, well, let's talk about the match, which is ongoing right now. We've got 1:15 to go, and there's no score at this point. But there's a shot in there by Hankey, and a nice Russian counter by Thomasette on there to get out of it. This is the second pit wrestler that we've seen here in the last couple of matches, and they're going for it. Chad Hankey, again, we've made that point that he's had a good wrestling partner for the last couple of years, and that can't help but help you on this one. We have one other bout going for third place on this. That's Medbury of wrestling unattached, I think, for Wisconsin, and he's going against Applin of Michigan. So a couple of Big Ten wrestlers over there.
Also, the award
Excuse me.
Remember, we talked about this, Greg Zafros, and I know you're all choked up about how well Pittsburgh is doing.
I am.
But they continue, and this is the second athlete in a row in the upper weights for Pittsburgh.
Right. Stall warning against Thomasette. Chad Hankey doing a lot of the shooting here for the Oregon State Beavers, and the Beavers just had a win over Kyvan Gatson, 7-6, I believe it was. Controversial finish there. And the Oregon State Beaver won over there, Mr. Meeks, who had a 50-second pin against Hudson Taylor. Now we have Troy Steiner in the corner, Oregon State, cheering on and coaching his big guy, Chad Hankey.
Right.
And so we got a scoreless first period.
Yeah,
Greg Zafros?
Right, no score out there, and we haven't seen a lot of movement out here. One of the things that Chad Hankey probably learned from Clayton Jack is the fact that, when you make your move, you really make it. I mean, Clayton Jack used to go around there, push and shove, and then he'd do this phenomenal throw on his opponent. Let's see if if Chad Hankey can do that. Right now he's on the bottom to start the second period, and he's trying to stand up. And he's going to get out, so gets out in 10 seconds. So there's a 1-0 lead for Chad Hankey of Oregon State.
Wrestling for the Beavers, who was right up there in the team race. I think they were top 4 or 5 here. Last we checked was Oregon State, and Pitt doing a good job there for Randy Stottlemyre, the coach for Pitt and company. And Chad Hankey, we do have a stall warning against Thomasette, so he's going to have to stay busy on the feet because he's already given up a warning. No points, but he's been warned. 1:13 to go in the second period here. And,
okay, they're just tied up. Very tight collar tie, not the kind I particularly like, but they're out there, I'm not, and pushing and shoving, and they're circling around at the center of the mat. Over on the far side,
Medbury has the leg of Applin.
Yep.
Colin Applin, good hip. Boy, real tussle over there.
They're going back and forth, and now they're locking up. They're clinching out
had
there.
A bear hug.
Another shot by Medbury, and they go off the mat. They got about, I'd say, somewhere around 500 pounds flying off the mat.
That's a couple big horses, boy. Look at the hips on those guys. They are big boys.
Yeah, meanwhile, nothing much going on. Here's another shot now by Chad Hankey, and a step over. And a nice kick out. Nice kick out. Stepping right out is Thomasette.
Wow, that was big for
Pitt. We're seeing some good wrestling here. Again,
Hankey had that leg up in the air.
Yeah.
Big kick out.
That was good.
By Thomasette. 15 seconds to go in the second period. Chad Hankey gets the escape. I keep wanting to call him Clayton Jack as well.
So. I know.
Clayton did so good for so many years there for Jim Zaleski and Coach Troy Steiner. But both on their feet. Hankey gets out. Thomasette gets the choice. He's going to take down, like so many heavyweight matches where you get the escape and we see who gets the takedown. I think it might happen. See if Chad Hankey can do some riding here. He's going to try to ride out Thomasette. He's got the claw ride here. The Spiral ride up to his feet is Thomasette. Chad Hankey doing a good job throwing Thomasette back. Oh, big set out here, going for a reversal. Chad Hankey wisely stands to his feet and gives up 1 instead of 2.
Okay, and so that ties the score with 1:38 to go, 1-1.
I think Applin leads Medbury down there on mat number 3, because Medbury from Wisconsin, your alma mater.
That's right, is the red wrestler.
Is red.
Right.
Greg Zafros wrestling for Wisconsin up there, and Madison for a couple years back.
Yeah, they don't like to admit to it.
Well, you're in the record books up there. We won't say
became
which
the
ones.
State, I think that beer made famous after Greg left.
Right.
Yeah.
They were celebrating.
They stopped selling that one that was named after me.
I think it was called Oh No.
Okay. Now we've got a good shot in there.
Oh,
By Hankey, and he gets that 2-point takedown, and you maybe heard that thump from our microphone.
I felt it.
Yeah, we had a little bit. I think
this
that's
is a concrete or wood floor. This is concrete
what
out
is
here.
that, a Richter scale of about 4.5 or so.
Yeah.
Just Hankey lifted him up, not really, really high, but just thunked him down really hard, and there was a
lot of motion, a lot of weight.
Okay, we had a Granby roll attempt by Thomasette, but it doesn't do any good at this point.
Hankey threw him down hard.
Okay,
You'll probably hear about it on the Weather Channel later this evening.
We get a potentially dangerous call on the knee. Hankey was holding on to Thomasette's knee, and it was twisted around a bit, so the referee breaks him, as he should, brings him back to the center. We are now tied over at
Medbury and Applin,
1-1.
Wisconsin, Michigan. Big Ten showdown on mat number 3, actually. Those two could meet more than this, this tournament.
Back to the center.
Up and out.
Thomasette stands up and peels the hands, and
3-2,
Hankey
14 seconds to go, Greg Zafros. Oh, in on a shot, now it's Thomasette. 6 seconds to go. It's Hankey's to win. He's got her wrapped up, there it is. 45 seconds of riding time. Oregon State
Chad Hankey
gets a champion for the Beavers. Oregon State, that could change where they finish in the team standing possibly. So, and Medbury gets 2 on Applin, so your Wisconsin Badger gets a big takedown there. With 16 seconds to go in the third, Chad Hankey wearing a smile, and coached by Troy Steiner there, one of the Steiner brothers.
You're right. The Troy of the Steiner brothers.
Yeah.
So Terry coaches women's wrestling for USA Wrestling.
Oh, boy, too.
Well, fellas, that draws the action to a close. There's still some trophies to be given out. We still have 1 match remaining to
closing seconds.
2,
1, that's it.
1, and that is it.
Medbury wins 3-1. Your alma mater.
Yep, that's right.
Wisconsin.
And Jim Heffernan is already holding one of the trophies over there.
Which one?
He went right over there and just picked up the biggest one.
He grabbed that first one. He didn't want anything to go wrong on this one. He grabbed it. He's hugging that thing right now. It hasn't even been presented.
I believe Illinois won this a few years back as well.
They did, yeah. They've always scored pretty well in this, I have to say. I'd like to take a moment now to remind...
Well, they've won it, 6 times, I think.
Yeah. I want to remind all our listeners that if you'd like to join the Scott Casber Fan Club, all you need to do is send a self-addressed stamped envelope along with a check for $1,000 made out to Scott Casber. That's,
Rick Stahl just stopping by.
That's CASBER, and you'll receive the official Scott Casber Fan Club membership card along with the new slimmed-down version of the Scott Casber bobblehead
doll. Pictures on that card.
That's right. Now, don't delay. Only the first 5,000 applicants will be.
You want to hear something funny? Is my son Adam, God bless him, down at Simpson University, Simpson College, got me a bobblehead doll for Christmas. 3 different orders. The first one came back, my hair was blonde. Second one came back, I had glasses. And the third one came back, and I looked like my buddy on a completely different network named Kenny Rice. And that's the joke. My bobblehead doll is actually Kenny Rice.
Oh,
is that fantastic?
Is that wild?
That is good, man.
All right, so how does it all end, guys? Illinois wins the championship.
Yes.
Yeah, and
the OW, we didn't get our ballots this year for some reason.
Yeah.
I
they
did,
might be coming.
and I voted.
And I saw him sign your name on your ballot.
Oh, that's what happened.
What can I say?
Well,
he
I'm
did
sure.
a lousy job on mine.
Yeah.
Well, they're giving their presentations now. They've got Jason Welch of Northwestern, the 157-pound winner, up on the stands, and they're giving them out. Let's see who's passing them out. But I think that true to form, one of the things about this tournament that made this one so good was the emphasis on the team score, not only for first and second, but toward the end the other teams moving on up, and that there were some drastic changes in team scores.
1 through 5 was, for team scores great this year.
Right, and so it was really good. And congratulations again to the University of Illinois for winning it. Congratulations to Virginia Tech for a fine performance in that. Mike Allen going by here and giving us a high five.
Head of the officials.
It was nice to see him.
Well, real quick, guys, we'll wrap it up, but the OW looks to be a favorite for at least the Northwestern fans here. It most likely will be Jason Welch. We're going to invite you to stay tuned to tomorrow's programming as we bring you the results on Takedown Wrestling Television. For all of us at USA Wrestling, for the Mat.com, the Mat.tv, Takedown Radio, and Greg Zafros Incorporated, and of course I want to thank our friends at Riddex. Riddex Termite Pest Control. If you got bugs, they'll take care of them. They creep, crawl, they kill them all at Riddex. For all of our great sponsors along the line. Greg, did you have a good time?
I had a wonderful time. This is like going home for me. I love it every year, and this is the highlight of the year for me. It's just one of the place I'd want to be.
So the answer is yes.
The answer is
all
yes.
All right. How about you, Steve Foster?
Faith, family, and wrestling.
That's
There's my favorite threes right there, buddy.
God bless you, buddy. Thank you so much.
It's been
great. Appreciate it, and it's been a tremendous opportunity for us to talk to each and every one of you.
Great job.
The 2012 Ken Kraft Midlands Championships draws to a close with your team champion, the University of Illinois. How about that? Good night from Welsh Ryan Arena on the campus of Northwestern University. I'm Scott Casber speaking. Good night, everybody.